Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever signed. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I
it.
don't think I've ever said this before.
Okay, listen, if you're joining us this morning live after Thanksgiving, I have so much respect for you. You're part of the crazy crowd because last night you probably had a lot of turkey, gravy, all the good stuff that comes with it. And by the way, go Joe Burrow. Comes back and beats Baltimore and has a couple touchdowns,
Your boy.
which I loved. And I was surprised that the Cowboys took out the Chiefs while Mahomes had 4 touchdowns and played lights out. And we had a turkey bowl yesterday with a soccer tournament. We have a winner later on. I'll show the picture of the champions here at our property. But we got a lot of stuff that's going on. New York Times decides to do a story, Vinny, saying that the president is maybe getting tired.
What?
Yeah, like he's tired, like he's fatigued.
It's over.
So, by the way, can I ask you everybody a question? What were you doing last night this morning at 12:10? What were you doing this morning, midnight at 12:10? Well, there's a guy named President Donald J. Trump that wrote a novel last night. Some call it a tweet, okay? This tweet, Rob, if you want to put it up there, can you go a little bit higher? It is so long that multiple people asked Grok, can you please give me the Venezuelan version of this, the shorter version, because of how long the tweet was, trying to tell everybody around the world, what are you doing at midnight? Me, Donald J. Trump, at midnight, I'm writing a novel. I bet you're knocked out right now after all the turkey and the food that you ate. Who knows? Maybe that's what the case was. Joy Reid, okay, which I would say, I don't know a lot of people that have the natural, like, animosity towards the opposition like Joy Reid does, the bitterness, right? Maybe her and Michelle can compete for it sometimes because every time you hear Michelle, it's always like people are after her hair, they're after her. Nobody cares. Just go live your life. You're young. You can do things. But Joy Reid comes out and says J.D. Vance may dump. She called his wife the brown Hindu. Wife for a white queen. She called J.D. Vance's wife a brown Hindu. Is that not racism? Brown Hindu. Like brown Hindu. Why would you? Who cares? He's going to dump his wife. But that's Joy Reid for you, said that. And by the way, Tom has a theory of why he thinks comments like this are being made. Putin convinced Trump to not send Ukraine Tomahawks to call a motion by Witkoff. Trump backs Witkoff after leak reveals he advised top Putin aide on Ukraine deal. Scott Jennings presses Democrat to name illegal order Trump issued. And by the way, Stephen A. Smith went off on a caller. Lights out. He went off on a caller. And all I want to know is, Stephen A., where'd you get that shirt from? But he went off on a caller, okay? Went off on a caller about that. And he was, we have to play later on, Rob, for the audience to see this. FBI seeking to interview Senator Mark Kelly and other Democrats Trump accused of seditious behavior. High school girls are shifting away from marriage and happily ever after. And obviously, we all know the tragic event that took place the last couple of days. The shooting, a man who was trained CIA in Afghanistan, who was here since 2021, goes up in D.C., shoots 2 National Guard soldiers in the head while screaming Allahu Akbar, and then one dies, she died, and the other one is in critical condition. And there's a lot of stories here. I've not seen President Trump do a press conference this upset at people the way he reacted to it. This is Thanksgiving, day before Thanksgiving. You have to watch these clips as we go through it. Our prayers goes out to that National Guard that served, who's no longer here with us. Imagine the day that happens. You're sitting there being thankful, and then boom, that's the news. What would that do to anybody? What a way to go. And we'd love to learn more about the family so we can find a way to help support the family as they're going through this tragic times with what just took place. Next story, Candace Owens accuses Macron of choreographing $1.5 million assassination plot against her. Deadly serious, she says. Candace Owens puts her show off air after she claims Emmanuel Macron tried to harm her and was tied to Charlie Kirk's death. So that's that story. And then we got national. Okay, we'll cover that. Alejandro Mayorkas once admitted not all of Biden's Afghans vetted in person. There is 2 videos that we're going to watch today. One of them is with Lindsey Graham when he is questioning Mayorkas, which you were talking about yesterday. Vinny has it. And then another one we'll play for you as well to see what happened here. Then there's a guy named Bill Crystal who is a rhino, and he tweeted something about Charlie Kirk in 2021 that didn't age well. We'll share that for you as well to see just a hack, a political hack who is going around commenting things like that about a man, Charlie Kirk, who did so much for the youth of America. You just have to see this tweet. We'll play that for you as well here in a minute. And we got billboards using National Guardsmen to refuse orders from Trump administration sprout around the country. Cracker Barrel CEO says she felt like she got fired by America after redesign backlash. Lowe's CEO predicts home renovation on the rise in 2026. If this is the Lowe's CEO that I think it is, he's an absolute stud of a guy, that family is. Meta employees compared themselves to drug pushers as company buried mental health harms to kids, unsealed docs.
Weird.
And we got a couple other things that we'll play here. Netflix steps up charm offensive to buy Warner Brothers and a couple other items. And anyways, we have that. And then over here, I got a couple other stories. Tucker Carlson. I have a theory with Tucker Carlson with his recent interview with
Nick Fuentes, Piers Morgan?
No, Piers Morgan. Yes, Piers Morgan. I have a theory. I'll share with you. Maybe it's off, maybe it's not, but I have some thoughts on that as well. And with that being said, let's get into the podcast. Gang, it's Black Friday. Odds are, maybe not our audience, but many people today are lined up to want to buy TVs on sale and all this other things. Here's what I learned a long time ago about Black Friday. I used to do that many, many years ago. And then I realized what I'm trying to do is increase my identity and support brands that match the values that I have. If a brand matches the value that you have, go support that brand. If it's not us, go to them. If it's us, support us. That's what we started doing. When I see local business owners do what they do here, I want to support them. And on Black Friday, there's good debt, there's bad debt. Every year when Black Friday comes, my suggestion, go buy an online course on how to do better in whatever skill set you're trying to learn. If it's business planning, if it's communication, if it's selling, if it's coding, whatever it is, invest into some online courses for yourself. So for us, this year, Black Friday, we're doing a couple different things. Today, 30% discount on 99% of our items on the website. Some are even up to 70% discount, okay? The only items that don't have that is the shoe because it's selling out every time we put them up. They sell out. So if you go on the site this weekend, you purchase any items, odds are you're getting 30 to 70% discount. And if you go on some of the offers that we have, it's just insane what things we got going on. But there's 3 special things. For anybody that purchases over $500, there's a mystery box. There's 19 of them left for those that place orders over $500. If you place an order over $500, these mystery box will be shipped to the first 200, 19 left. Number 2, you place an order for over $2,000, which many, many people have already. You will get a shot to be in a drawing where we will pull your name. December 2nd is the last day. From today to December 2nd, we draw a name. That person will be flown in. Go to Casa D'Angelo with all of us here. Then we do podcast prep, and then you're sitting right here next to me on the podcast, and we're asking you about stories on Home Team. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order, and Rob, if you don't mind going to some of the hottest items that we have, the one that I was talking about, if you can go back one page, this is the hottest item link that we'll have. Of course, it's the shoes. Those are the online courses. All the online courses, the Vault Conference, any of that stuff that we've had, bundle, instead of $10K, you'll pay $997 for it. The shirt that I'm wearing, go a little bit lower. Those shoes which are selling out. The Stefano Ricci collaboration number ties that we have. The USA hat, go a little bit lower up. The Faith Over Fear shirts that we have. The Yetis that are few left. So this link, Rob, if you don't mind putting it below so people can go and place their orders. The watch collection case that you travel with your 3 watches in there. Just a bunch of great items. But this is it. If you're a wise shopper, this is the day to go to vtmerch.com, place an order, get gifts for folks on Christmas Day. That's going to be around the corner. Do your shopping at vtmerch.com. With that being said, let's get right into our first story. The first story is what just happened, the tragic event that took place to the 2 National Guard members, which this story here says are in critical condition after Washington, D.C. shooting. Well, unfortunately, both were shot in the head by an Afghani national, Rahmanullah Lakanwal, who came here in 2021, was a CIA trained in Afghanistan. Prior to that, he puts 2 bullets in a National Guard's head. One of them dies. She's no longer with us, which we will recognize him here in a minute after President Trump's video. And the other one is in critical condition. And when he shot them, he screamed, Allahu Akbar. Here's President Trump reacting to it. Go for it, Rob.
I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now, I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023. Outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. This just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. She's not with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. That's horrible.
Okay, Tom, thoughts on the story here of what happened, this tragic story?
So I'm going to go a little bit deeper. First of all, we're with you. We have parents that are so proud to see their daughter take the oath, join the National Guard, is on a patrol in Washington, D.C. And you have to remember what they were doing in Washington, D.C. first. They were on patrol there making a city safe, serving fellow citizens, making a city safe. And by all accounts, you had a city that was completely different for the average citizen that was there. And you had the mayor and other people having to admit it, not being covered in media, but having to admit it. And she goes out there to serve, and it's her first day of service. She gets paired up because they have the patrols with the buddy system, and out there patrolling, just trying to keep it safe. And this trained individual with military training comes up and does execution-style hit on both of them. And it's horrifying. So my first thoughts is with parents that were so proud on 1 minute, but they're now thrust in the middle of national headlines and grieving the loss of their daughter. Now I get to what happened. I am really worried that we are in the early innings of a color revolution. I am really worried that this could be a false flag operation, that this guy was used by the intelligence community. I'm worried. Do I have facts? No. Do I have documents? No. But I am really worried when I see things like this that are designed to incent us to get up there. And when I look at color revolutions and false flags, they talk about delegitimizing leadership. Check, they're after Trump. They talk about making illegitimate, which is actually normal governance. Check. They talk about, cause the military to defect and get a small sect of the military willing to go against the leadership. Check. The Seditious Six. It's a playbook. And trigger defections within those groups. Check. So I see all this stuff, and you may say, hey, Tom, you're seeing shadows in the distance. I don't think so. I really worry that there's a color revolution going on. I worry that there's something going on and that this could be a false flag op that's part of it, because false flags are designed to get the public really angry about something so that they are okay with the steps that happen next. And this kind of scares me. I'm not alone. General Michael Flynn wrote a very long piece on it that says, Mr. President, things could be happening out here. And nobody is talking about General Michael Flynn being like the conspiracy of the week guy. He's not. And he's out there talking about, we got to be careful about this stuff and see what's really going on. But I'm really concerned that the news media...
Very interesting angle you're taking, Tom.
News media is more worried about whose
angle.
fault is it for the immigration than what's behind it.
Very, very interesting. So, Vinny, I'll come to you. What do we know about the individual that killed one of these National Guards and shot the other one in the head?
So this shooter, Rahmallah, I don't even want to say, I can care less. He was a CIA-backed Kandahar Strike Force vet. Per leaked ID, and Ratcliffe, who's the director of the CIA, I believe, in a Fox interview confirmed that he had, and I quote, ties to the CIA as part of a partner force in Kandahar. Okay, so we know who this guy was, Pat. And again, going to Tom's point, God rest her soul. Can you imagine? Everybody was with their family. Everybody was hanging out. Imagine that family's Thanksgiving. Take a second and just stop and imagine that. You're prepping for Thanksgiving. Everything's happening. And then that happens. Are you going to have a regular Thanksgiving dinner? Are you guys all going to be having fun? No, because they have to do burial plans and funeral plans for this girl. So God rest her soul. Pat, I'm going to go. I love where you went, Tommy. I'm going to take another even step back. How is this guy here? And let's talk about that. All this, besides the fact that she was doing her job, and the crime is significantly down, and the people of Washington actually like it. This was all a plan, tactical invasion from Alejandro Mayorkas and the Biden administration, okay? Besides the open border, let's take that and put that to the side. How horrible was the Afghani withdrawal? Take a second and think about that, okay? That was the way of Biden's first. At least he stopped the war. Did you guys see the videos of the worst withdrawal ever? And 60,000 of these people. Pat and Rob, can you show the photo I sent you on Slack of that plane? Guys, remember when the plane was taking off, Pat? People are running by that C-130. And people were hanging on and jumping off and dying, okay? That's it. This is Trump's tweet. This is part of a horrendous airlift from Afghanistan. Hundreds of thousands of people poured into the country, totally unvetted and unchecked. We will fix it, but we'll never forget what crooked Joe Biden and these thugs did to our country. And if you guys think about this, we bombed the hell out of a country, okay? Then you're going to let...
Who the hell hires like that? Who recruits like that? Who hired... Always bring it down to the most simplest concept. What company, if you ever started, would you just say... Here, hire those 600 people. Don't vet them. Don't interview them. Don't call references. Common sense. So if anybody watches and says, what's wrong with that? These guys are fighting for their lives. Would you hire like that? Would you hire like that without running references, without running background checks, without running credit reports, without seeing their resumes, without having them being interviewed by 2 or 3 people? Would you do that? That's what America did under Biden. That means we hired these people without any references to come here. And there may be your neighbors living right next to you. Vinny, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No,
but to me, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it's not interruption. That's called, you piggybacked, and that's exactly it. Well, you bombed the hell out of them for their poppy fields and Al-Qaeda and all that stuff. How pissed off do you think, if you let 60,000 in, what would you say? 25% are like F America? And by the way, they did it on purpose, Pat. I'm telling you right now, there's no other explanation for why the border was wide open and why would you let them in unless you wanted them to do exactly what the hell this piece of you-know-what did. You give them all cell phones and you go, hey, listen, go, welcome to America, and just wait. If we need you, we'll call you. And the moment this happened, Tom, because I want to go by the numbers, I went, where's George Soros? Is Soros linked to this? And automatically, George Soros linked NGO World Relief is the name of it, funded the settlement of the National Guard shooter, that Ramadan, whatever the hell his name is, in Washington State from Afghanistan. World Relief has received U.S. taxpayer dollars through USAID. Okay, I knew he was going to be tied to it at some point. But let's just go back to the withdrawal. They were so proud. They wanted the headline. They rushed a country that 20 years we've been bombing them and killing their people. They left $85 billion worth of gear left in the hands of the Taliban. 75,000 vehicles, trucks, armored units, 600,000 weapons, more than 200 aircraft, night vision, drones, radios, that we armed the Taliban, and then you let this guy come in, and he has ties with the CIA, and he does this type of...
Can I add one thing right in there and then finish what you're saying?
Ahead.
I'm not interrupting, but adding something. Would the CIA or the intelligence community been able to send that kind of military equipment over to them if they tried to get it through Congress and appropriations?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
so get what? I've got an idea. Let's push all the military to withdraw and just leave it there.
Yeah, and give them.
You got your stuff.
Yeah, and give them the weapons. So enough of this. Pat said a good thing is this suicidal empathy. This bring them in love. I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. We cannot do this crap. You can't. We can't survive. And Trump just paused. I believe Trump just paused. On Thursday, he said he would suspend migration from what he called third world countries because, guys, and I'm sorry about your sadness. You know that saying, a few bad apples ruin the bunch? It's over, okay? Too bad. I'm sorry. The damage is done. 20,000 people are here. We don't know. And then, I know, Pat, we're going to get to the videos. When Alejandro Mayorkas was in, and I sat in this chair, and I told you guys, with that stupid look he had, it was a purposeful invasion, and nobody said shit. And the majority of the Democrats were like, They kept quoting the Statue of Liberty. Bring them in, bring them in. Well, guess what? Now they're walking up to freaking American soldiers and shooting them in the head.
I'll give you two. Watch. The Dems wanted to bring in votes because they think they're just bringing in refugees that are going to be turned into voters.
Yeah.
The Dems think, oh, they're just refugees, right?
Yeah.
And the intelligence community says, you know what? We can hide right in the middle of this.
Damn
We will be the intelligence community is sending in the raisins in the muffin. The muffin is all the voters that the Dems are trying to bring in through this kind of invasion immigration. They don't think and there are Dems that honestly do not believe they're bringing in bad people. They honestly believe that we're just bringing in refugees.
Yeah.
The intelligence community hides in the middle and says, guess what? In the middle of that shit, you know what we can do? We can hide our guys.
Of course, of course.
Rob, I want you to play this clip, and then Adam, I'm coming to you. So here's a president snaps at an individual, asking him a question, and says, are you a stupid person? Watch this. Go ahead.
DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in.
Boom.
Okay, so that's his reaction.
He's pissed.
You can tell.
He's pissed.
And by the way, when was this? This was yesterday. By the way, on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving.
He's working. On Thanksgiving, he's working and taking press conference, not just pardoning the turkey, not just doing the camera type of stuff that's kissing babies. He's sitting there answering questions with the crisis that's taking place. Imagine how he's feeling right now. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah. I'll tell you why this situation is just so unsettling. Despite the fact that it happened on Thanksgiving, I totally understand why Trump is so pissed. I'll tell you why this is so unsettling. Because this isn't just another shooting. It's almost like a combination of every issue we face as a country, culminating into one tragedy 2 blocks from the White House on Thanksgiving. So let me count the ways real quick. So this is evidence of a broken immigration and vetting system, domestic terrorism, open borders, lone wolf domestic terrorism at that, Islamic terrorism, a.k.a. jihad, as he yells Allah Akbar as he offs 2 National Guardsmen. Let me count the ways continue. Mental health crisis, gun violence, anti-police, anti-ICE, anti-National Guards, trained by the CIA. What? After a debacle of 20 years in Afghanistan, where we spent 20 years doing what? So the Taliban can reclaim their power there.
Suspicious
Trillions
intelligence
spent.
community.
2 National Guards shot in the head, all while this foreign national Afghan yells Allah Akbar as he shoots 2 National Guardsmen in the head on Thanksgiving. If I'm Trump, I'm pissed as hell, and any American should be pissed as hell.
Let's do this. Rob, if you don't mind going to 2 interviews of Mayorkas being interviewed, being asked about how many of these guys were vetted, and the way he answered those questions in the most pompous way. This is Josh Hawley's one of them.
Yep.
There's 2 of them. Okay, there's another one as well, Rob. But let's start off with that one first. Go ahead and play this clip. Is this him asking questions about how many of these guys were checked out? Okay, watch this.
Procedure is an in-person interview for refugees or visa applicants. Now, you've testified that you're not doing those interviews.
Not at all.
That they're not happening.
Not at all.
You are correct that we are not conducting in-person full refugee interviews of 100% of the individual.
What percentage are you conducting?
I don't have that information.
What number have been interviewed?
What we are doing.
Wait. What number of the more than 60,000 brought to the country? What number have received an in-person interview before they came to the country?
He's telling me this
because you said 100% are screened. So what percentage have been given an actual interview by a trained official before they come to the country?
When you're speaking of a full refugee-like interview, I don't have that data.
By the way, are you following what's happening
Security.
to people who've been brought to this country? On September 19th, a female U.S. service member was assaulted by a group of male Afghan evacuees housed at Fort Bliss. September 5th, a report from your office, the DHS, from U.S. officials at intake centers in Wisconsin identified numerous incidents in which Afghan girls have been presented to authorities as the underage wives of much older men. Other reports of assaults and rapes by Afghan men for Afghan girls. These are some of the folks who have been brought here because they haven't been screened, because you haven't conducted interviews. Don't you think that's a problem?
There are 2 things that can happen.
That's
they
that.
can be
That's that. Now, watch this next one. This is Lindsey Graham. And by the way, we can talk about the story all day, but we can go to what Charlie Kirk said about this, Rob. I'm going to send you, if you go to Tom's Twitter profile, Tom's been doing a great job on Twitter. If you guys don't follow Tom on Twitter, go follow Tom on Twitter. He posted something about Bill Kristol. Bill Kristol retweeted a video. Did you find the video? Go right there. So Tom says, never forget, never let them forget what an irredeemable POS, and I'm sure you guys all know what POS is. So Bill Kristol, go on him. Okay. And the post with, okay, so this is what Charlie Kirk said, August 16th, 2021. Rob, if you can play this clip. Okay, watch this, folks. Go for it.
Joe Biden's Department of Defense will accept 30,000 Afghan refugees into military installations following the collapse of Kabul. Boom. Political transformation. Let the country crumble. Do you know there's 5 million displaced people in Afghanistan now? This was all intentional. Joe Biden let it fall apart to now say, oh, I'm so sorry. I guarantee you Joe Biden's speech this afternoon will talk about refugee assistance and relocation support. Now, Joe Biden's going to be scrambling to make good on it, and the liberal media will love it. They'll say, oh, yes, okay, now I get it. Joe Biden is now fixing his own problem. Joe Biden is stepping up, and he's allowing a flow of people from the Middle East into America. Thank you, Joe Biden. You're such a hero. You're so benevolent. You're so respectful. You're so compassionate. Do you see what's going on here?
Okay, pause this. Now watch what Bill Kristol, who is a rhino, who's a old school warmonger, neocon. Look at this. Almost every Afghan refugee will turn out to be so much better an American than Charlie Kirk.
Such a stupid comment.
And by the way, do you know who this guy is? Like, last night I'm asking all of you guys, who the hell is this guy? I'm reading his profile to see who he is. This guy had a heavy position. This wasn't a regular guy. He was a guy that he was a neoconservative, of course, but he was in a Bush White House, national security think tank, co-founded by Liz Cheney. And I mean, he was a board of emergency committee for Israel. All these other things that you hear with this guy here. And you read him. He played a leading role in the defeat of Clinton Healthcare Plan 93, as well as advocating for 2003 invasion of Iraq. Advocate of invading Iraq in 03.
Flag carrier he was.
Yeah, chief of staff to the vice president. Chief of staff to the vice president. This isn't a regular person saying something like that about Charlie Kirk. And then Lindsey Graham, who, you know, Vinny said it correctly yesterday with Lindsey. Lindsey is not somebody that you sit there and you say, you know, but here's a very good moment that Lindsey had, Rob, if you want to play this.
Was Afghanistan a successful withdrawal?
Senator, the evacuation that the Department of Defense and the Department of State led was historic in evacuating so many individuals.
Of those that are evacuated, how many of them were vetted before they got on the plane?
Senator, it is our policy to
That's a simple question. How many of them were vetted before they got on the plane?
Out of Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Cannot speak to that, but it is our policy.
Can't speak to that.
So you can't tell us how many people were vetted before they got on the plane to come to America.
This is so
I'm sorry.
annoying
If
to
you're
me.
speaking of
Okay,
plane
let me
to
tell you
come
why
to
this
America,
is so annoying to me. So, guys, I lived in Iran 11 years. I go to Germany. I live at a refugee camp. We waited since 1984 to get a green card. You know how much vetting they had to do? Finally, in 1990, November 28, we come to the States. My mom applied for the green card since 84 for us to come to America. We wanted to leave Iran a long time ago because they didn't want me to serve the military. Just think about this. If you're running an apartment complex, you're the manager of an apartment complex, and you have 300 open units, what do you do to get those tenants in? Tell me what you do. Maybe you've never done the job. I've never done the job. What do? You vet the new tenants. Now, what is bigger than an apartment? A city. What's bigger than a city? A state. What's bigger than a state? A country. How many people came through? What was the number that came through during that time, Rob? I've heard some numbers from 18,000 to 71,000 to 34,000. I've heard so many of these. Tell me if you're running a country and you're the greatest country in the world, that everybody and their mothers is trying to get a social security card to America to come here because it's the American dream. They want to come here. Why would the greatest country in the world just say, let them in here? Whose neighbors are they going to be? 76,000 evacuated Afghans. on a humanitarian parolees. 76,000 people that came in. That's being conservative. Some are saying the number is 200,000. They're your neighbors. They're living in your community. There's some of the guys are trying to blame him. They're saying the fact that these National Guards, the people that got shot and killed, this is on Trump. This is on Trump. This is his fault. If he wouldn't have put the National Guard out there in D.C., this would have never happened. That girl would have still been here with us. Do you realize what a dumb argument that is? What a dumb argument that is. He is making the city safer for people on the left, right, and the center. And out there saying, let's point it. So to me, Tom, what you just said about the color revolution at the beginning, something's going on here. Even yesterday, they asked him about Somalians. President Trump, you can tell already, he's not even having it. I don't know if you saw the clip with Somalians, Rob. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you. It's in the notes of when somebody asks him, Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. Is that the one, Rob? I think that's the one. Yeah, go for it. Yep. Watch this one here. Go ahead, Rob.
Many of these people are criminals. Many of these people are people that shouldn't be here. And many of them have been gotten out. I mean, we've gotten out a lot of the people that, we've taken a lot of them out of here. But they came in, legally, right? Yeah, I know, this deal story. Many are wonderful, yeah, I'm sure.
I said many are here legally, though. What should they think in terms of their prospects?
Well, they can't be happy, okay? They can't be happy. Because what's taking place between that, if you look at Somalia, they're taking over Minnesota. And they are.
What's this got to do with Somalia?
We got a lot of problems with the gangs, with all of the things taking place in Minnesota. We have an incompetent governor, We have a dope governor. They can't be happy about what's going on. And if you talk about the Afghans, there's a problem because so many bad ones came in on the planes. They just walked in. Whoever the strongest people were physically in a way, but whoever the strongest, they got on the planes. There was no checking. They just swamped the planes. They took off. We had no idea who they were. Yeah, do you want to ask a question behind?
Me? Hi, sir. Happy
Sure.
Thanksgiving.
Hi.
What do the Somalians have to do with this Afghan guy who shot the National Guard?
Nothing, but Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. There's a tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia.
For terror?
What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people have been able to see before. That's about the only thing. You talk about competence. We have Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country and our Constitution. And she comes from a country with practically no country. It's devastated, it's crime-ridden, it's a mess, it's a disgrace. And we took their people at a tremendous... We're not taking their people anymore.
You know what's the most frustrating thing about this entire thing, Pat? The accountability that the Democrats... It seems to me that they can do anything that they want, all this invasion, everything, and nothing ever happens, Pat. And then the ones that get in trouble, Comey, Letitia James, Fani Willis, they all just got, what is it called? Their cases all dismissed. It's as if, it drives me crazy, and I can't express this enough to anybody listening. I don't care, and it's politics. You people say I don't want to get involved with politics. Politics is involved with you. I'm not naive, Pat. I'm not naive that the left is going to get back in power. But it's our job, and that's why our podcast is so freaking important. Never try as hard and as long as we can, never to let them have power again. Because the moment they get in, they're going to do the same shit. They're going to open the border, number one. If you don't think any Democrat person, candidate, that's not going to be their first order of business, you know what they're going to say? We love America, open it back up. Don't ever forget what they did. In Texas, they tried to put barbed wire. The White House sent bulldozers to pick it up and say, get your illegal asses in here. And I'm sorry, one apple could ruin the bunch. And my heart goes out. As legal parents, you came in legally, so did my parents and my grandparents. They're messing it up for your whole freaking Afghan crew. And I'm sorry. So you want to get rid of people from third world countries? Do it. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. How many people have to get shot? This is the beginning. You nailed it, Tom. They're slowly starting to do it.
And by the way, what's interesting about this whole thing, Tom, is the timing of it. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
No, keep going. Yeah, I'm on your thinking thread right now.
What's strange about this whole thing is the timing of it. You take this, then you take what Mark Kelly said, that, hey, don't take the orders, or you can question it. You can do this. And then Scott Jennings comes out and asks this one lady a simple question, because that's what they're trying to get to. Simple question. She does not know what to say. Watch this exchange here with the great Scott Jennings.
Only reason that the FBI is even looking into this is to chill speech. That's exactly what it is. He wants these people to stop. He wants other members of Congress to he wants to silence Democratic members of Congress and other elected leaders on speaking out against Trump. When it comes to...
Wait, can I ask you a question? Stop what? You said they want them to stop. Stop what?
They want them to stop speaking out.
So you said speaking out against Trump. So you're saying that you believe that inherent in the video is that Donald Trump has given illegal orders.
No, actually, what I will say about...
Because what Abby argues is that they're just stating a fact, but you're saying it's speaking against Trump.
Because they speak out against Trump in other ways.
If it's speaking against Trump, then you took the message the way they intended it. You took it the way they intended it, which is that Trump has given illegal orders, and you can't name one and nobody else can.
Hold on, let me just say that. Congress has a role in ensuring that there are whistleblower protections when people come out.
So you believe there are illegal orders?
I'm not saying there is. I'm saying in the Biden administration. Okay. I'm saying in the Biden administration, there were whistleblowers. In other administrations, there have been.
Okay, so the other guy says, I believe there's illegal orders. But now Stephen A. Smith, whom we had a very good dinner with this last week. Great conversation.
Great combo.
Yeah, great conversation.
OG.
He has a caller calls in, and he breaks it down in 3 different areas in a most incredible way, wearing that phenomenal shirt. Go ahead and play this clip, Rob. Stephen A., where'd you get that shirt from?
This is his Wednesday political show on Sirius.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Respectfully, Senator, what the hell are you doing? Looking into the camera and telling military men and women to ignore the commander-in-chief. How dare you? How dare you do
Rob, is this the call? This is not the caller.
That's right. I'm calling out. I never served.
This is not the caller. So there's a guy that calls in. Okay, there's a guy that calls in and says, go ahead, caller. And he goes straight to the caller. You'll see it. And you have to listen to this caller. Okay? I have it. If you don't have it, I can text it to you. Is that the caller? No, this is it, Rob. Go ahead.
Greg, Alabama, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Greg?
Stephen A., it's a pleasure to talk to you, my man. I've been a big fan for you for years and years.
Thank you.
So I'm a service member, and I can't really speak too much on this, but if I decide a direct order from my commanding officer, we get Article 15, right? There's a whole thing we do, right? But for a senator to tell us service members to defy direct orders,
yes,
our commanders who we follow do not have a choice, because if they defy those direct orders, then they lose their career.
Thank you.
So the senator's asking us to lose our career.
This point is made after he snaps at him. The clip is when he's calling them what happened with Nazis, what happened with Nazi Germany, what happened with all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, Stephen A. just blows up at this guy at the beginning of that phone call that was made, at that call that was made. Watch this here. Go ahead, Rob.
Eugene in Washington. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. First off, I want to say I love your show. Often listen to you. I do happen to disagree with you today on a certain point, especially when it comes to our Democratic leaders that stood up and told the servicemen that they could disobey illegal orders. And the reason why is throughout history, even going back to Nazi Germany, those people that obeyed illegal orders, when they said, "Oh, I was just obeying orders,"
stop that! You stop! No! You stop that BS right now. First of all, don't bring up Nazi Germany on this show when you're talking about American politics in the year 2025. We're not doing that to anybody on either side of the aisle. This is America. This ain't Nazi Germany. Stop it. That's number one. Number two, here's what I was saying. If you're going to quote me accurately. Identify the illegal orders you're talking about.
Boom.
You don't get to speak if you're a senator of the United States who served in the United States Navy as a combat pilot, and you're just going to throw out innuendo and assertions without factual evidence to back up your claim. That's why they're investigating it. Military officials are different. This is not civilian. This is not the civilian life. You can't just do that. That's what I'm saying. He knows better. Now, that doesn't mean he committed treason. It doesn't mean he should be thrown in jail. But what it does mean is that Senator Mark Kelly needs to watch his mouth. If you're going to accuse the President of the United States of giving illegal orders, you need to say what those orders are.
Bingo.
You need to be specific. And you need to make sure that you understand that as a former military man,
Watch this.
that regular court of law don't apply. Here's the military.
Watch.
Here's the military. You understand? Military justice. Code of military justice. This is what that is. You don't get to do that. That's what I said. Go ahead and speak.
Okay. What I was saying, though, those illegal orders could potentially be the Mediterranean bombings of those boats.
Did he say that?
It's against.
Did he say that?
Nope.
No, he did not
That's
say
what
that.
I'm
He
saying.
should have.
He didn't
I don't-
say it. He didn't say it. You got to say it. You can't just blanketly go out there and
So you
accuse
can pause
him.
it right there. So now
and say-
watch.
And
When-
apparently the caller doesn't know where the Mediterranean is. We didn't bomb boats in Mediterranean. We bombed them in the Gulf of America off the coast of Venezuela.
Right. But when you're watching this and you're watching the killing of the National Guard, all happen within a week apart. It makes you question a lot of things, Tom. What are you thinking right now?
I believe we're in the first innings of a color revolution. I believe there's manipulation going on below the surface. I'm not going to build a 5-page treatise where I say, this is what's going on. I'm not wired conspiracy that way. But I can see the facts. I can see a calendar. I can see outcomes. I can see the 2021 testimony in Congress. I can see Bill Kristol. I can see Lindsey Graham's question. I can see Josh Hawley. I can see Charlie Kirk. And then I see what's happening right here, right now. And I can hear, the Allahu Akbar. I can hear what they're saying. And so I step back from it and I'm like, I got a problem here. I got a serious problem here because all of these things are lining up and they're lining up the wrong way. And I think if you made a pie chart of the Democrats, like a pie chart, and you said, what percent just are doing it for Democrat power and they're ignoring all the downstream effects, you probably have the huge percent, like 50, 60% of the Dems, hey, let's win the elections. Let's get the people in here. Let's do that. On the other hand, inside the rest of it, you've got people that have wanted the United States to join, globalist organizations, the UN, to have more power. There's no conspiracy in that. There are people that believe that the sovereignty of the United States should be adjusted, that our Constitution should be adjusted or thrown out, and that we should join a more globalist organization. Soros is on record. People are on record. So now you see all this and you see the funding. That's what I think. And it makes me very, very concerned when I see somebody like Mark Kelly who went through, by the way, and let's remember Mark Kelly's family went through, a senseless shooting. His wife was a member of Congress
in Arizona
and got shot. And has a permanent disability as a result.
Something Gifford, right? What was her last name?
Gabby Gifford. Gabby Gifford has a permanent disability. So, it's not like Mark Kelly hasn't seen this, but to cross the line like that, I believe that the label the Seditious Six is correct. This whole thing stinks. I hate the timing, and I think all of it's coming home to roost, PBD.
Vinny.
And notice how great point, Tom, and the fact that you mentioned the CIA and the color revolution. Notice that we're talking about the CIA working with the guy, the terrorist Afghan guy that shot the National Guard's woman. Guess what? Alyssa Slotkin, she's one of these seditious six. She's ex-CIA. She admitted, Democrats, there was no illegal orders, okay? And a lot of people, Pat, also, and mind you, you know why Mark Kelly's doing this? You know why they're opening? Because they know at the end of the day, nothing is going to happen to them. Nothing. Nothing is going to happen to them. Which one is this one, Rob?
Which
she admits?
Yeah.
Play that real quick, Pat, because I want
This is important. This is very
go ahead.
important.
Right now, do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes.
Okay.
And everything related to Venezuela.
And this is it, guys. And here's you know why they did what they did, Pat? This is the point I want people to know. You're going to we have 2.1 million active duty and National Guardsmen. You're going to make them, because think about the percentage, Pat, 3 to 5% that hate Trump, maybe 6%. They're going to question orders. You're going to question orders. You don't have time. You take your orders and you freaking follow them. That's the military. And this is the problem, Pat. They weren't just treasonous and seditious. There's a third statute I want people to pay attention to. Federal law, 18 U.S.C. 2387 reads, activities affecting armed forces generally criminalizes knowingly advising, counseling, or urging any member of the United States military to disobey, desert, or refuse lawful orders with intent to interfere with military operations or loyalty. That's what they did, okay? And the penalty is 20 years, up to 20 years in prison and $250,000 fine, okay? They violated the law, plain and simple, okay? And by the way, this is the ex-CIA chick telling them to undermine the authority of the commander-in-chief, all right? We have a chain of command, guys. It goes from E1 all the way to O9. Mike, is that what it is?
09 is
010
is officer.
is, okay.
G4, 4-star general.
You break that chain, we fall apart. I worked at a nuclear missile base. Could you imagine the missileers? God forbid we go to war and it's a nuclear war. You want the people that are turning the keys to protect us to knock nukes out of the sky to go, hey, is this legal or is this illegal? That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, and they're undermining it, okay? And this is you want to talk about slippery slope, Pat? That's the slope. That's the slippery slope, and they know what they're doing. But with the justice system we have, nothing is going to happen to these people.
Well, I'll just add this. This is all just symbolic of what the Democrats stand for at this point. They don't have a game plan of their own. Their only game plan is just reacting and doing the opposite of what Trump is suggesting to do. So is Trump anti-American? Hell no. Are Democrats anti-American? Well, if they're taking the 20% position on a Trump American stance, then they're going to fall into the category of anti-American. So earlier this week, we played the whole montage of these politicians basically telling military not to follow orders. And now when they question the politicians, they go, what was the illegal orders specifically? Well, I don't really have one. So you're making this commercial basically saying, don't obey Trump's illegal orders, but you can't name one illegal order.
Pat, did you see this, Adam?
It's mind-blowing.
Did you guys see these billboards in North Carolina? Did you go airborne just to pull security for ICE? And what's that bot say? What's the actual website, Robbie?
Hold on, I can see it better.
Probably should trim those trees.
Not what I signed up for.org. And then look at the website, Rob. I sent you this as well. When you click on that website, I sent you the link on.
By the way, pull, for people who are not familiar with the military, or don't have friends or family that were in there, when you say pull in the military, it means pull a detail, means take an assignment.
Yeah, exactly. Now, guys, and then if you click on the website, you saw the billboard, you have questions, you're not alone. Go ahead. But here's some proactive steps. Use encrypted, this is where you get this whole whistleblower nonsense, Pat. Encrypted Proton Mail, Signal app, so they could say, hey, we got this, this, and this. He's giving illegal orders. This is freaking dangerous, and they know what they're doing, Tom. They know what they're doing. And when you have this Slotkin chick who is ex-CIA, who to me means you're forever CIA, these are the people that sow the dissent, and they try to destroy the country from within. You're a freaking CIA chick. Nobody trusts your ass.
Robert,
Nobody.
Do me a favor. Go to that website and take that website and go to who is, if you just type in who owns this domain, you know what I'm saying, the domain lookup. Let's just do a quick domain lookup. I want to know if anything will come up on who is behind this domain. Okay. And put the domain in right there. If you go a little bit higher, go a little bit higher.
Right.
Yeah. Search. Zoom in. Who owns this domain? When did they buy it? August 28th.
August 2020. This is very new.
So they just bought this. So they've been planning
on
doing this for 3 months. Okay, so check this out.
Beautiful.
Take a look at this, you piece of mother. So they've been planning on doing this right before Thanksgiving for 3 flipping months.
Wow.
They registered on 8/28, okay? Updated on September 3rd. Go a little bit lower, Rob. I just want to know who owns this domain.
Just so you know, if this is all about Venezuela, which is what Slotnick is saying, the first military strike in Venezuela was September 2nd of 2025.
What
so
a
4 days
before
they knew they were going to do this. So go a little bit lower. Go a little bit lower. Can we see? No, they're not going to tell us. No, keep going lower. What is that number? Let's call that number. But that's a number to that name.com website. Hang on, let me just call that number real quick. I don't think it is a I don't think that's anything. I think it's...
If you find the P.O. box, it's probably to a registrar or like a bulk. You know what I mean?
What is that number, Rob? 720-800-9072.
And there's another one that was above it, Rob. Then we're doing like some Nancy.
Thank you for calling Domain Protection Service.
Okay, so that's a domain. Okay, okay.
But it said Josh and something, Pat. Do you see those names? Go up a little bit, Robbie. Go up, go.
Gene.
Right there. Gene and Josh.ns.cloudflare.com. Those
Okay,
are the
so
servers.
then if you are there any names such as Josh or Gene tied to this website?
Usually they use
Okay, so then this, by the way, this is what it makes me. Rob, can you tell him to turn off the AC? It's a little bit cold in here. So you know what it makes me think about?
We're heating it up.
No, let me tell you what I think about. Here's what I think is going on. August 28th, first attack to September 2nd. Then, it's going to sound crazy, the only way they know this, that an attack is going to be taking place on Venezuela, is either we already publicly announced it or somebody from the inside leaked it to somebody else.
He's a leaker.
And they said, let's get ahead of it and buy the domain and let's create this division.
A leak in Washington.
You guys,
so there's a leak in Washington. Oh my gosh.
If that's the case, and this is what they did, and that's when you set up the domain, you're all dirtbags. That's what you are. You know who you are. You're a dirtbag for setting up something like this. You want to see division in America and shit taking place to the next level? You're a qualified dirtbag is what you are. And you know who you are for setting up something like this. A few days prior to this, if this domain had been set, by the way, when would we have not questioned it when this domain was set up?
A year ago.
No. Actually, if it was a week ago.
Oh, yeah, even quicker.
If it was,
my bad.
If it was 2 weeks ago, you would have said, all right, that makes sense because it was part of the whole thing.
But they're all reacting.
The fact that it's 5 days before the first time, because it's August 28th, 29th, 30th, August is 31 days, 31. First, second, 6 days before this.
Come on.
Yeah, there's something going on here with this. Anyways, what a freaking weird. Rob, did anything come back tied to those names? Because I pulled it up right now to see if there's any Gene and Josh attached to it.
No, I believe it's just Cloudflare is the
count behind it.
Well, yeah, it's a service that connects the website to some type of.
Yeah, they had an outage 2 weeks ago, affecting a lot of people. They're a security layer.
Yeah, so let's go to the next story. This is folks, just be aware. And by the way, this next story I'll go to, I don't know how much this has to do with it. Joy Reid said J.D. Vance's wife, like J.D. Vance may dump, ready on what she said? The brown Hindu, wife for a white queen. This is what Joy Reid just said. Play this clip. This is what she had to say.
They can't have the successor to MAGA be the guy with the brown Hindu wife. They're also Christian nationalists. That ain't gonna work. That's why he's throwing his wife under the bus. Poor Usha. Or she's in on it, right? And she's
playing slap and tickle with Erica Kirk.
Look at these two. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's like in her Tammy Faye era.
Okay. Holding on the back of his head and rubbing on his head.
Some weird shit.
Baby.
Loving like these liberal, disgusting women, bro. Look at them. Look at them.
I'm like,
all
you're
surgery.
not doing that right thing. You're supposed to be a widow. You in leather pants.
Yeah, that's her shirt.
What's her shirt say?
F Trump.
Could you imagine?
ICE.
Wouldn't it
Free
be
Palestine, free DC.
Does it say fairy tale, MAGA fairy tale?
Unoccupied Chicago.
When he sees the light that he needs a white queen instead of this brown Hindu. I mean, I'm not saying that's happening,
right?
Or maybe that Usha's not even in on it. Maybe she's whatever. But that's one entrant.
Well, so apparently Usha was seen without a ring on. And they went to, that's probably what happened, all this other stuff. Who knows? But Tom, you have a theory on this, on what they're doing with Usha. By the way, just so everybody knows on how I feel, guys. A married woman shouldn't put her hands on the back of a man's head. If my daughter is doing me, this is me. You guys can judge me and say, Pat, what the hell are you talking about? What a freaking crazy thing. That's just how she's and greets everybody that way. My daughter, I would tell my daughter, babe, he's married. Don't put your hands on a man's back of their head. You're going to make him uncomfortable or make her uncomfortable. No wife is going to like when a man another woman puts their hands on the back of a man's head. So I don't like this right here. I don't want you guys to think, and by the way, we're fans of Turning Point USA. I'm just giving my thoughts. I know I'm going to get shit. Oh, you're never going to be invited again. I'm not talking about that. All I'm saying is I agree. That's a little bit too much to put your hands up there. It's not a good look with the vice president. So is Usha going to be okay with that? Maybe. Maybe she's not. but probably what percentage of wives would not be happy if another woman put their hands like that on on their husband's head? What percentage?
Mine's going to take a chunk out of you with a driver.
But I want you to actually think about it. No. I want you to think about it. Let's ask married people, okay? Rob, what do you think? What percentage of wives would say, babe, why is she putting her hands on the back of your head? What do you think the percentage is?
90? I can't imagine walking home and not having that conversation with my wife. 90% of women would have a problem
fair
with
enough.
that.
Having said that, so I understand that that's not good for JD's look. But Tom, you have a very interesting theory on what you're seeing that's taking place. Go ahead, Tom.
Yep. Well, first of all, to top this off, you asked Rob, and I'll answer it as well. About 2 weeks ago, didn't you and I have a conversation? We were at a business event, not one of ours, but it was a business event. And I said, wow, Pat, that guy's wife is a little touchy. She just met me and she was touching my shoulder.
I mean, you're irresistible, Tom.
No. You know, they keep like this.
No, Tom.
While we were all talking.
Construction
No. I didn't feel comfortable with it. And I thought that she was being a little bit too friendly and touchy with people. So this is real. This is a real thing.
We literally talked about this 2 weeks, all jokes aside. We did.
We did.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. So here's what I think's going on. We've seen the numbers on Kalshi. JD is over 50% probability on Kalshi and a lot of other places and polls. He is the guy. So guess what? That makes him the target. The Democrats are trying to figure out who they run, and they are in disarray internally. There's a lot of them. The establishment does not want Gavin Newsom. I'm on record they don't. They like Pritzker. Now, is Pritzker going to get the full support? No. But the point is they're in disarray, whereas there is a logical line that right now is happening on the Republican side. And even Rubio is stepping back. He has not said the words, I will not primary JD, but he has said things that are supportive and they're showing unity that maybe I'm not going to, run to be the top guy. I believe that what they are getting is they are getting their marching orders, and we are seeing hit pieces on JD. There's been, he uses profanity too much, like he used at the Air Force Base. He was talking about turkey, and he says, you're full of shit. You don't like turkey. How many other days during the year have you actually cooked an 18-pound turkey? Oh, listen to where he talked. That's not very statesman-like. I believe the media is all in cahoots, and they are being pushed by the DNC. We have to undermine JD. How do you undermine JD? You go after him. You go after his wife. You go after him. You go after anything you can. You go after the fact that he was a little too... Is he loyal? He was always with Vivek, and now he's not with Vivek. Is JD loyal? Has he supported him for governor? There's all this stuff going on, and I think Joy Reid is a tool, and then she's been used more than she'll ever admit on things like this in the media, and I believe they're out there, and this is a concerted campaign to start attempting to undermine JD Vance because they believe he's the target. When Trump's done, JD's the target. We have to figure out who our guy is going to be, our woman, our candidate. But man, we got to get after it, and I think it's happening right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And by the way, there's a lot of things. JD's about to get scrutiny in ways he's never had it before, and it's well deserved. You're choosing to be a president.
It's a test.
And guess what? It comes with the territory. So you'll hear the questions. His kids, his kids are named. One of the kids is named Vivek. The other two are American names. Why did you allow your kid's name to be Vivek? 1 out of 3. I think if it's like you get 1, I get 2, fine. When you're married, I got 4 kids. We were kind of picking and choosing what names are going to be. It's funny. We were talking about it this morning. Patrick Dillon, Brooklyn, Senna, Brooklyn, right? Okay, we're going through the names. Then his ties to Palantir. His ties to Peter Thiel. And so that part is going to get investigated and deeper, and guys are going to react to it. And they should. You're running to get the biggest job in America. People are going to want to know, are you going to be bought or not? Because President Trump is already a billionaire. It's tougher to buy him. But maybe JD is not. And coming out of college, getting a big job that he got right off the bat, guys are going to question it, and it's going to go even higher. The level of scrutiny is going to get higher. Expect a lot of weird stories to come out the next 24 months. And everybody in the market should scrutinize whoever's going to get the big job, your party, the other side's party, and that's all fair play. If you don't like it, don't get in the arena. It's kind of how this works. Like when people send messages, and I'm okay with any of the messages of disagreement you send. I'm just not okay when it's the messages anyways, I'm not even going to get into that. But, you know, some of the messages that are like about your family and your kids and death threats and stuff like that, that's just uncalled for. But to me, the moment you get on camera and you give an opinion, do not be afraid when people push back and they disagree with you. Did you hear what that person said? Yeah, because I had an opinion on it. They have the right to react to what I had to say. That's open game. So, but to me, what Joy Reid did and what she said there, what happens with them, it's almost like do you see a pattern with everybody that when is the last time, Rob, a vice president or a president got a divorce?
No, it doesn't happen.
When is the last time a vice president or president got a divorce after being in office? After being in office. It's probably happened.
I really wish I could have got divorced.
Chill, Bill.
Yeah, it's probably happened. Good question.
There hasn't.
Recent. Ronald Reagan was the first, but he was married before.
He had a short marriage in Hollywood.
Okay, Trump was also, it was before. So Bill Clinton, former vice president under Bill Clinton, Al Gore separated from his wife Tipper in 2010, but that was a separation. Okay, so that's the first one. So Al Gore didn't want to publicize it as a divorce, but is Al Gore still with his wife, Rob? Are they still together or separated?
Her name's Tipper.
Wow,
yeah.
Tipper,
What a name.
And do you remember Al Gore said that Eric Siegel's novel Love Story was inspired by myself and Tipper?
They're not still married?
Liar.
So it looks like they're separated, but they're not divorced.
Okay, so guess what? But guys, that's not a long time ago.
It's a divorce.
15 years ago, there was a separation. So I don't want to put a thing here that there's no way there's anything going on between the marriage. I'm 80% chance Usha's furious with what happened, that they with the hands on the back of the head. And if that's my sister or friend or anybody that I see, even somebody I don't know, I would say, I don't blame you for not being happy about it. You think Melania's going to be happy if somebody puts their hand on the back of President Trump's?
Where was that incident?
Was that a Turning Point USA event when she brought him up?
What year?
And she said, he reminds me of Charlie Kirk. 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So anyways, look, she's going through a lot of things. I don't know what it's like to lose a husband like Charlie Kirk. So everybody mourns in a different way. So I don't want to judge, but I have not commented on this at all, purely out of respect. And this is the least amount of commenting you're going to get from me, or most amount of commenting you're going to get from me on this topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say a couple of things. Number one, I'm not sure why we put any credibility or credence to anything Joy Reid says. Is there anything that comes to mind that she's gotten right? When you go, you know what? Joy Reid, what a great point. I can't think of one. Not one.
It's not about
she's a
right.
race-baiting, victim mentality, identity politics, clickbaiting, former MSNBC, canceled somewhat journalist who's now a mediocre podcaster with white liberal women wearing a victim mentality shirt.
And those two are horrible.
That's Joy Reid.
Those two are horrible
Of course,
as well.
don't even get me started on these far left liberal women. They're the worst things in America besides the illegal immigrants that are killing National Guardsmen. Regarding divorce, I've said this before. I never thought that Michelle Obama and Barack Obama were getting divorced, even though there were rumors. Even when the Trump and Melania rumors happened after 2020 when he lost the election, never bought into that. If Bill Clinton isn't divorcing Hillary Clinton, politicians don't get divorced. Al Gore, Tipper Gore, he wouldn't even divorce her. He just stayed separated. So to me, this is nothing. If J.D. Vance wants to be the president, which I think he's probably the most likely person in the Republican Party at this point, he's not going to get divorced. Right now, when's the last time a president was single in office? I don't know.
I don't think ever.
It was Abraham Lincoln, whatever it was.
Whatever.
So the point is this. It would be shooting yourself in the proverbial foot to get divorced.
There was a rumor.
You're still going to have these little brown kids running around.
There was a rumor.
With the stepmom, not going to work.
There was a rumor that said he's going to leave her for Erica Kirk because she's the perfect wife.
Yeah, okay.
And that's like, okay, by the way, do you know who got a lot of heat on this topic that was running for president that I think at the peak it was at 19 to 21%? Do you know who? Who is one of the most brilliant political minds of the last 50 years? Do you know who? Newt Gingrich.
Yeah,
Newt Gingrich went through this when his wife, I believe, had cancer, Tom, or something happened. And he got the amount of criticism that he had to answer for what happened when he left her or something like that.
And remember that
happened.
exchange that he had where somebody questioned him from CNN, I believe, Rob? And he's like, you know what? You opened a political debate with that shows about you and your character. You remember that clip?
Of course I do.
I love that. I love that moment. He checked his
So
ass.
what I'm saying is, like, if he does that, trust me, when you get into these levels where you're about to be the leader of the free world, what is that Manchurian Candidate movie? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
With the mother in the back. Who's the mother? The actress that has won a bunch of different awards.
Glenn Close?
No, not Glenn Close.
Oh, the Meg Scar. The girl that they say she's the greatest actress.
She was
Meryl Streep.
Meryl
Streep.
Yeah,
she's lost her mind.
When they sit,
Denzel.
do you think behind closed doors they'll sit there and do things like this? Well, it would be better if your wife was this.
Yes.
It would be better if you wear this shirt. It would be better if you do this.
100%.
You think they think like that?
I have a different perspective.
For sure,
I don't know. But all I'm saying is, look, if that, let's say the 0.001% chance that happens, the amount of objections you would need to overcome for having left your wife for a white wife,
Of course.
you're done.
Yeah.
You're handing the presidency to Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
Or somebody else.
Can I,
or the Newsom.
Can I say why?
Especially a modern, diverse America.
I don't see it that way because some great friend of mine, he wrote a book called Your Next 5 Moves. Once they selected J.D. Vance and his beautiful brown wife to be the vice president and they won, they said, all right, next 5 moves, Trump's a one-term president. J.D., if you fulfill what Trump is doing, you'll be a 2-term president if all things go according to plan. So who's your wife, first lady? They probably already vetted this, my opinion. I don't know. So that's my assumption on that. Number 2, I have a different opinion on their closeness, Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance. At the end of the day, I assume they're just friends. And what do I mean by that? So last night, I don't want to name names, I had dinner with one of my best friends. His wife is also one of my best friends. Like, that's how close we are. To tell you that I've danced with her in a club, lifted her up, it's friendship. It's nothing more than that. And my friend knows that how we are, we've been friends for 20 years. So I'm not saying that they've been friends for 20 years. So I don't look at it just because she gave him a hug and touched the back of his head, that it's that flirtatious or that bad. My opinion, I could be wrong. I don't see any salacious, weird things going on here. Could be wrong. But in my opinion, that's friends, that's affection, that's pain, that's grieving. That's just a bond that they have.
Did you you were dancing with your friend's wife at a club, like dancing with her? Did you do like the dirty dancing, like you picked her up and held her, like that type of dancing? Like, I need to know what were you?
How did we get here?
By the way,
think this
what
is
I'm saying is, you don't think you
just-
can be friends with a friend's wife and not have?
No, you can't.
You can't be friends with a
Zero.
friend's wife.
Like hang
Zero.
out with
You
her
can't.
without him there?
No,
can't.
not hang. What?
No.
Zero. You can't. That's it.
So
zero.
that's where you draw the line. You
No,
can't be friends with your
you-
friend's wife.
Listen, his wife is my sister.
I know.
No, wait a minute. She's my sister. But there is nothing I can do that is more than just a sister that's going to make Tom even 1% uncomfortable. If there's a risk, if I ever meet your girl the day you get married, you will see how I'm going to be to your wife. I'm going to look at your wife like my daughter or my sister, period. I ran a business for the longest time, and there was a lot of knuckleheads who followed your rule. We're just friends. No, not under my watch. I've never been a fan, ever been a fan. I want Rob to come with his wife to any of the parties I put together and have nothing to worry about. If he gets a 5% fear that somebody did something with his wife, I am a horrible enemy if you do something like that. I don't play those games. I don't like it. I don't think it's appropriate. And I think it's basic protocol and etiquette. There's certain etiquette. Now, you grew up in Miami. And don't get me wrong. I understand the party life. I was in it for a long time. And then I stepped away. And there was a lot of stupid things we did as young men. I'm not going to sit here and act like we walked on water and we didn't do anything dumb. Trust me, there's a lot of stories of what we did. But there came a moment where I said, nope, not playing these games. Anything that happens here, I'm treating her that way. And I told everyone, look how many of our guys in our company, how many divorces do you hear about in our company?
Not many.
We don't play around with stuff like this. Every one of our guys in our company, they're my daughters or my sisters. That's how I look at them. And those husbands love this approach. And they will never in their mind ever even have a thought that anybody can have anything around us with them. If it happens, I can't control it when I'm not there. But I lean towards this mindset. You can call it the mob mindset. You can call it the mafia, whatever you want to. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's just a very man's protective mindset that I have, that this is the approach we take. And long term, if I'm a gambling man and I have to choose between these two mindsets, I'm putting my entire life savings on this side with this mindset. That's where I'm putting my life savings. And I'm going to raise my girls for hopefully be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to raise my boys to also be that way, because God knows all our kids are going to be tempted to do some stupid things just like we were tempted to do as well.
I'll give you a little bit of credence here. A lot of what you're saying is your business model. I'm not saying everything.
It's not credence. I'm not looking for credence.
No, I'm just saying why I understand your perspective here. You built your company off couples. So you need to set boundaries very clear.
This is not what it is, Adam.
But what do you...
This is not about a business model, buddy.
This is life. This is beyond.
This is not business model. This is life.
Okay.
This is how I am with everything in this area. If that's your girl, I have a basic rule. No one's going to touch your girl. No one's going to do anything to her. This is my way of doing things. My way of doing things. It doesn't matter what it is.
I get it.
When one day you get a wife, you're going to feel very comfortable with me being around your wife. And you will sit there and say, if your wife ever wants to talk about, hey, Pat, what do you think about me and Adam, stuff like this? I remember one time something happened. I'll tell this story and I'll just move on to the next thing. One of the guys that, one of my first guys who does very well financially, very smart guy, very talented guy. Early on in his career, he went through a nasty divorce. And a wife messaged me afterwards on Instagram and text. And I got a bunch of messages. Hey, would love to get on a call with you and would love to talk to you and all this other stuff. Do you know how many times I got on the phone with her? Because I think it's fair for you to hear both sides of the story. How many times do you think I got on the phone with her?
Probably zero.
Why do you think that is?
You don't want to hear your side of the story.
I'm not the guy that says I'm friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was my number one.
Of course.
He is the relationship with me. I don't have a relationship with the wife. She wanted to give me. There is no reason for you and I to speak whatsoever. I don't need to hear your side of the story. Marriage is tough. It's difficult. You guys didn't make it work. I am not trying to dump on it. It's very, very hard to make a marriage work. You move on. These are very sensitive topics in life. When later on things happen, you ask yourself, what kind of kids do you want to raise? What kind of values you want to build it on? These are some of the things you got to be thinking about. And by the way, I see you with your friends, and I see how you guys are together. I see it, and it's great. But I don't know what it is to be in that community in Miami, grown up in that. I don't know if that wiring would have worked with me. If I walked up with my girlfriend and he saw my girlfriend, you're too friendly with my girlfriend, you're not my friend. You can't be my friend if you're too friendly with my girlfriend.
Believe me, I'm with you on that. But also, some onus is on the girl.
Oh, no, you're right. No. By the way, that part I'm with.
Okay.
But let's just say, you don't think girls have tried, you don't think married women have given me their key cards to go upstairs?
Yeah, I know.
What do you think's happened with me? You don't think I go to events and like, hey, man, and the line is always the same thing. I wish my husband was more like you. He's just so lazy. He doesn't do this. Would you mind? Here's my key card.
You inspire me.
What kind
You're
of
a
weird
leader.
things do you think happens when you hear it?
Yeah.
Now, and by the way, again, I'm not saying this to put myself on here that in the future I'm not going to make a mistake. I don't want that unnecessary type of pressure. This is why I travel in threes with men. This is wherever I go with Vinny or Tom or you or Mario or other people, because I don't want to go places by myself. I have a rule of not having certain things I follow. I don't even want to get off topic here because we got a lot of other things to
No, I think this
get
is
into.
very much on topic. Because circling back here, I don't see JD doing anything out of the ordinary.
This isn't on JD. I'm not putting this on JD. Because so for example, imagine I'm role-playing, Vinny, you're thinking about it, Tom. So you go up and Erica puts her hand on the back of your head. What do? Do I go like this? Imagine that video going viral. No. You can't. You have to be like,
okay,
that's weird. Awesome. Next. I know I'm going to have a conversation with my wife afterwards.
We also don't know what it's like to be Erica Kirk at this point.
That's why I said I don't know. I'm not saying I know.
She's grieving. And a lot of people think that she's up to weird things. I think she genuinely loved her husband, lost her father of her children, and she's dealing with it. And we have no clue the trauma that she's dealing with.
Nobody
at
is
this point.
saying that.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
And you know what? Real men help her. Real men put boundaries up to help her from any weakness she may have. That's what a real man does. That's what a protector of a family and community does. You set boundaries up so in their pain, they can't get past the boundary. You help them. And then you whisper to your own wife, you need to reach out to her because she needs a woman in her ear to give her the kind of guidance.
Yeah. Look, for us on the back end, you know, we contributed from our side. We've contributed to the organization. We contributed to her directly with the family and the kids, stuff that we did. No, we are for the Kirk family.
For sure.
Those kids, Charlie's kids, always can call me and get anything. I'm going to go out of my way to help those two guys, the kids that they have. Because to me, that's how special of a guy he was. I was a very, very big fan of Charlie. And anyways, we can move on to the next story.
We're on the same page there. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me get to the next story. What story do we have, Rob, that we haven't gotten into? Let me see this here. Okay. Candace Owens. Candace Owens accuses Macron of choreographing $1.5 million assassination plot against her deadly serious. Okay. So let me read this thing here. Give me a second. I know who said this on the Vinny, Tom and Adam. I'm going to come to you guys. So over the weekend, the political commentator also claimed that Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, was trained by the French Legion 13th Brigade. Is this what she said? Candace Owens claimed on Monday that the French President Macron and his wife allegedly spent $1.5 million on plot to assassinate her days after she claimed the couple ordered a hit on her life. When everything is said and done and the public learns that Macron allegedly moved $1.5 million for an assassination, how will the wall respond? Owens wrote on X on Monday. The allegation came days after Owens claimed on Saturday that a high-ranking employee of the French government told her that Macron paid for an assassination squad to execute her, a group that included one Israeli. The claims came from after Owens had accused Brigitte Macron of being a trans woman, prompting the French couple to sue her for defamation in U.S. court. She also suggested Israeli influence played a role in Charlie Kirk's. Who wrote this article, Rob? This is The Wrap, November 24th. She claimed on Saturday that Kirk's alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade and that another journalist, Javier Possort, is also at risk. This is deadly serious, she wrote on Saturday. The head of the state of France apparently wants us both dead and authorized professional units to carry this out. Tom, what are your thoughts on this story?
So, number one, I've always seen Candace to be, you know, a very strong voice. And when she gets on a story, she's also a researcher. We've known her. We've had her on here. We spent time with her. A great weekend at Kentucky Derby with everybody, a whole giant group of people. And I always found her to be a well-informed, deep researcher. Parts of this really make me worried that if something's really going on, that she's kind of put her finger in the light socket a little bit here with people that may really want to hurt her. And that concerns me. The other part that concerns me is sometimes you get so deep into things that it can kind of churn you a little bit. And I worry that maybe she's pretty deep into it. And I don't want to see a day where someone I have respect for, that we wake up and everything is discredited and it was all crazy and it got loose. I don't want to see that day. And I don't want to see a day where she gets hurt. And I think there's a lot of stuff going on in here that is, you know, when something is so incredibly bizarre, it's either true or somebody's just way out on the plank with a crazy story and they don't know what to do themselves. And I want to see the truth come out of this. I want to know what's going up. She appears to be naming names and being very specific about specific amounts of money, specific French legions, the Legion 13th Brigade. She's being very specific about an awful lot of things that either she's got, you know, a spy novel here that's so incredibly well written, or there's something really going on here.
Adam.
And I just don't want to see her get hurt.
Got it. Adam.
So Candace is one of the most gifted communicators out there. She's very gifted at grabbing your attention. The flip side to that may be that she's an attention-seeking, spotlight-addicted narcissist who needs your attention and gets off on all the attention. You used a crime novel was the thing, spy novel?
Spy novel.
It's so funny because I was watching Scooby-Doo the other day, and it made me realize that Candace is like the human podcasting version of Scooby-Doo, where, where are you? I'm going to find you. She has her whole crew, and she deputizes her audience, as Dinesh D'Souza said. And she doesn't need a mystery machine. She's got her podcast and her mic, and she's bringing Twitter receipts, and she's finding clues, and she's finding chicks with dicks. Whatever she's working on, she always has the answer. And you always have to stay tuned to the next episode where she does the big reveal. And then plot twist, ruh-roh, it was Israel. All roads obviously lead to Israel, of course. Who was it? It was probably Israel. And then much like Scooby-Doo, it's like, you would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling fact checkers. So to me, she's so gifted, but at the same time, when they rip the mask off people, I'm wondering, what is the mask that she's wearing? What is she hiding? Because what she's doing is not, she's either the best crime fighter the world has ever seen, or she's gaslighting everybody into believing whatever nonsense she's coming up with. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of them.
Vinny.
I think just like how we talked about recently about the illegal orders that Alyssa Slotkin and Mark Kelly and all of them, none of them can say what it is. Show us, as who was the one that was saying, Stephen A. Smith was like, show us. You have to show people the evidence. Show it. I understand, and by the way, I think the week off, it's Thanksgiving. People take vacations, but at the same token, if you want people to believe that
the evidence is coming on the next episode,
no, he's saying something else. He's saying like she's taking a week off because of what's going on. What he's saying is everybody's
taking the week off because a lot of people are like, they're coming to kill her.
Yeah.
And we're not taking a week off, and we haven't taken a day off.
No, sorry, I understand, but what I'm saying is, you have to show me the receipts. If you want people to believe that he sent these assassins, guess what? You better have it out and put it out there and show everybody. Because apparently the White House was contacted, or they were given these receipts. I don't know what's going to happen about it, but if you want me to believe that that's actually happening, put it out there and show us so we can see it. That's it. I want to see actual proof.
Yeah. So there's a couple things, Rob. There's a pastor that responded to it at Turning Point USA. What do you call it? Faith. Do you have that video that I think if you go to the video from Faith, Turning Point USA Faith, I'll find it for you if you don't have it. There's a video of this. Go a little bit lower. Pastor was talking. You don't have this, Rob?
That
one right there. Yeah, if you want to play that clip. Yeah. Watch this clip here. So he is at a Turning Point USA event saying this. Go ahead.
So contrary to what Candace Owens is saying, who's spending her time trying to tear down the legacy of Charlie Kirk, fighting against Erica Kirk, his wife. You have to be cruel and demonic to insinuate the things that she has insinuated over the past several weeks. She's evil. That's what it is. And a big hand clap goes there. Don't get shy on me tonight. I ain't the one. I came too far to play around. It's evil. It's corrupt. It should not take place. She sounds like a jaded person who wish they were in the role that Charlie Kirk's wife is in, but she isn't.
What does that mean?
And so therefore, she seeks to tear down his legacy. And at some point, her husband is going to have to walk into that podcast room and start unplugging cords.
Yep.
By now, I would have already done it if it was my wife. I'm yanking cords. I'm shutting down the camera, shut down the ATEM. Sweetie, get up, get out of this room, and can you please help out with the kids? Because this is a dastardly deed that is being done. I thought that the greatest foe that we would have to contend with after the assassination of Charlie Kirk would be the left. But sadly, it's friendly fire from the right. I'm moving on.
Let me ask you, Rob. Is this pastor followed by Erica Kirk?
I can find out. Let me take
Can
a
you
look.
find out if this pastor, because I don't know who this man is. Obviously, he's a good speaker.
How do you say his last name?
Follow him back, Robbie.
Is it Reverend Jordan? Is it Jordan?
Robbie loves you.
John. See if Erica Kirk follows.
Followed
is
by
there a
them?
way to test that, Rob, or check it? Or I guess do you follow Erica Kirk?
I'm not sure.
You better, Rob.
Okay, so follow her and then go back and see.
I don't think you clicked it, Rob. Did you click?
He did. He did click follow. So let's just see Okay, go a little bit lower. I don't know this. Go a little bit lower. Go a little bit lower. Go a little bit lower.
Nope.
So he doesn't follow Erica Kirk. Now, does Erica Kirk follow him? Okay. Is there a way to see like people that you follow that follow? Do you guys know what I'm asking about here? Because what I'm trying to say is, and was Erica Kirk live at this event? Was this a Erica Kirk TPUSA event where the two of them have collaborated before? Has there been a collaboration with the two? Okay. Has there been a collaboration with the two at all? Like if you go on YouTube and type in Erica Kirk and this pastor's name, if you can go on YouTube and type in Erica Kirk and the pastor's name, you'll see where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, so boom, boom. Is it? I don't know, guys. I'm just asking. I have no idea who this man is, but he's a phenomenal speaker.
It doesn't seem like they've
so
done
here's what I would say. If he's at a Turning Point USA on stage saying something like that, that means him and Erica Kirk have to be on the same page. But Turning Point USA brings a lot of speakers. That doesn't mean that everybody, like Erica and I, don't have a relationship together. So it's not like, I've met her many times, a handful of times with Charlie, but it's not like there's a direct relationship and contact there. We just simply support the family. For him to say that, okay, got it. He's making his point there. There's some other thing you were talking about. Tim Pool,
Tim Pool said something. I think Rob found like a clip where
I'm going to give my final thoughts on this. Rob, if you want to play this final clip with Tim Pool, and then we'll get into what I'm thinking is going on here. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm like, how come nobody came out and said Candace is in on it? Not his question.
I think I saw some of those tweets.
Oh, wow. That why does she employ a law firm that works in a federal building or in a building with a bunch of federal undercover, whatever? And so my response was jokingly like, whoa, that proves that Candace is part of the PSYOP and she accidentally just outed her handlers. There's an interesting conundrum in a show claiming that you'll be silenced for criticizing Israel and people are trying to kill you while having one of the top podcasts in the world for years now and making tons of money doing it. I kind of just find it hard to believe that YouTube, Spotify, Apple are all like, let's prop this up. Because Nick Fuentes got banned, mind you. Mm-hmm. And she's like, remember, you can't say these things, otherwise you'll get banned. And then she's promoted massively on all these platforms. Yep. Nick Fuentes is on Spotify and he gets banned when his podcast grows and he's censored. But Candace Owens is propped up on all these platforms, promoted, and her lawyers are in the same building as the feds.
Some things
YouTube's always chosen who gets to be number one and who gets views. So I do think it's a fair question. Why is Candace being propped?
All right, you can pause.
It sounds like he's
there.
Deeply questioning.
Yeah,
Candace.
I get what he's doing as well, and I got it. By the way, just so you guys know, he makes a point because Leor Cohen, who's a former Jewish music industry executive, is now running YouTube. He's the global head of music. And this guy was a very, very much one of the most biggest power players of the Jewish community in a music, not the Jewish
I remember
community.
this
Music.
guy. He was just big
and
time.
I want to say
guy.
he had a major feud. Was it Ice Cube I asked about? I asked somebody about him. Rob, do you remember I asked one? Was it
Suge Knight?
Oh, we talked about Suge Knight with him. You're right. It was Suge Knight. Good call, because I know Suge and Rob are very close. So it was Suge Knight. But you know what it makes me think about? Here's what it makes. So Tim Pool, good point on what he said right there. Here's what I will say. You know what stops the whole thing? Candace, you know what would stop the whole thing? A Candace Erica Kirk podcast. I think that stops the whole thing. Because you know what that does? That finishes everything off. Let's go through on a few different things. If an Erica Kirk and a Candace Owens 2-hour podcast happens, I think it'll be the most viewed show she's ever done. Okay. I agree. And the world will finally see and say, oh, there is a real relationship between them two. Yes. We know there's a relationship with her and Charlie, of course. We've seen it. There was, yes. But we don't know what that relationship looks like. Maybe Erica Kirk is on Candace's side. Maybe Erica Kirk doesn't have any problems with this. And by the way, if she doesn't, then guess what? Nobody else can say anything else, and everybody's got to move on that specific front. I agree. That comes up to what? The Charlie Kirk and the Erica Kirk. Let's set that one aside. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, the hit, the $1.5 million hit that's been put on Candace, her claims that she's also told the U.S. government, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, great. So when you go and process that one, here's a few things you got to go. Let's there's only one person knows whether this is real or not, and it's Candace and her husband. Nobody else knows this but them, right? Is it fair to say that there's only
if it's a credible and actual threat, meaning they have the information in front of them, yes,
that's
or
them.
whoever
Okay.
gave them the information.
Phenomenal.
It's
Okay,
not
so
like she found it.
great.
did she?
So let's or whoever gave that, and maybe that person is
That's what I'm
also
saying.
playing like that whole one video that they show that she's reading off the address, and the address happens to be her lawyer's address, and they're like somebody spoofed her or whatever word they used that they got her. Dox. Oh yeah, not doxing her. It was somebody send out a real credible email, and it's like, no, this is actually your lawyer's office that we're given, but happens to be CIA. Anyway, so maybe somebody is doing that with her. Is there a possibility that a death threat would be given to somebody like Candace Owens? 100%. To anybody that thinks it doesn't, 100% for the stuff that she's talking about. Of course, there's credibility that it could happen. I have a list of 50 names. If I were to rank the 50 names of where she would rank of content creators, she's definitely in the top 10 list. Some could argue she's in the top 5 list, okay? So let's set that part aside. That is there likelihood that something like that could happen? Yes, she's very loud. She is constantly pushing the envelopes. Okay, so that
We're
could
on
be
the
the
same
possibility.
page
All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is how many things has she so far gotten right? I don't know, but I do know a lot of people are following the stories very closely. Mikey and, the Bill Ackman, the $150 million. Bill Ackman had to respond and say there was no issues here. $150 million Netanyahu offer, the letters, and then Netanyahu shows the letter that Charlie Kirk wrote that said, yeah, I want to help Israel to deliver the messages better. He wanted to be a Catholic. There's plenty of clips that said he had no interest of ever being a Catholic. One of them was with Michael Knowles. So a lot of this stuff has happened where people are kind of speculating on what's going on. One documentary I believe everybody needs to watch is the story of Morton Downey Jr. It's called Provocateur. And the challenge with, success is the following. It's very challenging. Very, very challenging. This happens to athletes. This happens to Hollywood. This happens to actors. This happens to women. This happens to men. This happens to everybody. Where, you're playing. Like the other day, they're showing a clip of LeBron James. Luka bumps into him, falls down, but LeBron doesn't offer to pick him up. And they're saying that LeBron now doesn't like the fact that Luka's becoming the face of the Lakers. Guess what, LeBron? The reality is you're no longer the 32-year-old LeBron, right? And that kind of happens.
He's 40 years old.
I think Candace is in her peak, so I'm not going and saying this. But what Morton Downey Jr. did is he had a TV show at one point that was a top TV show, passing Montel Williams, passing Rosie, and passing Oprah Winfrey. He was crushing it with the ratings. If you've never seen this documentary, go watch it. It's absolutely sick. Incredible documentary. Eventually, he got to a point that he was so on fire that one day he tells his producer to cut his hair in the airport, I'm paraphrasing what happened, and write the swastika sign on my face to say the KKK and stuff like that, they're coming after me. And then a few months later, the producer on Phil Donahue's show, I believe, went on there and said, I can't be in on this anymore. This is not true. This never happened. I feel like crap. I had to come out and, say this because this never took place. You know what happened to Morton Downey Jr.? Disappeared. Nobody knows who Morton Downey Jr. is today. And the only reason you do is because you probably watch that documentary. Go watch the documentary. Hands down is insane, okay, on what happened there. So that's that part. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe she's entertaining. And I'll tell you the last thing here, that any of these things that could be taking place is, the last one is, maybe, just maybe, when you talk to lawyers and you ask lawyers, what do you think is going on? You talk to entertainment lawyers. Maybe the lawsuit with Macron, they have offered everything so far. Maybe they have offered everything so far that it's getting so nasty that there needs to be an event for that lawsuit to be dropped, because we all know what happened when Alex Jones got sued and how much money was targeted for Alex Jones. What is that number, Rob? That was $1.4 billion. I don't know what the number was.
There was a B in there.
And it gets to a point that you realize some of these lawsuits can destroy careers. So one lawyer said, maybe that's what's there, $1.5 billion to liquidate his assets and all this other stuff. Maybe that's what's also going on. I don't know. All I care about is the following. We have a couple things here that we do with the podcast that is very hard. you know, we have relationships with many folks. I think even when Candace had her falling out with Daily Wire, I think a lot of people would say, and she may even say this, we were probably one of the only ones that defended her and backed her up, and we got nothing out of it. It's not like, hey, come to us, let's sign you. No, everybody thought we were doing that. Everybody said, Candace is about to go to Valuetainment. Nope. I had a conversation with her about some suggestions I made to her. One said publicly, it's between her and I. And we had very good conversations together for about 2 years and all this other stuff that we went back and forth. And she was great as she was going through it, because I think we need the voices to be out there. And I hope she stays in this game. But more from, you know, Vinny, sometimes in life, let me tell you what happens, man. You're not even aware of it. Somebody gets a hold of your ear and you're permanently done. You lose incredible opportunities. You lose marriages. You lose friendships. You lose great business opportunities because someone's in your ear. And you watch somebody and they all of a sudden go like this. You're like, wait, what happened to this person that was back then? Now, keep in mind, again, if there's an interview with Erica Kirk, if there's an interview with all these other things, if the U.S. government comes out and says this is actually real, which I actually give credibility that could happen. Somebody could be willing to take her out. I say that. If it comes out, then everything I just said is gibberish and you just move forward. But if not, you know, it's a rough place to be.
I don't think it's gibberish back. You're just asking the right questions. And I know exactly what you're talking about, the people that it recently happened where I saw one person enter the scene and this person, who I love and respect, went completely about it.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, whoa, you know, too. I was like, wait, what the hell?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'll tell you after. Where I literally saw, and I wanted to say, the writing is on the wall, but your back is to it right here. And everybody's telling you, turn around and look. Look at the writing on the wall.
You know what those people are famous for doing?
Bina.
You know what those people are famous for doing? We had a guy that was with a girl. What they're famous for doing is they want you to cut ties with everybody else, and they want to have 100% influence over you.
I've seen that before.
Don't trust anybody but this. One by one by one. And it goes with family, it goes with friends, it goes with... I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not at all speculating there.
What do you think the percentage is that Erica Kirk is going to sit down with Candace and do a podcast?
I don't know. We're living... Listen, I call 2025 the year of surprisses.
And
we got 1 month left.
And yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
I would be shocked to see any interaction between the two, because this is my opinion. Charlie and her were friends. Yes. Were. I don't see any evidence that her and Erica were friends. In fact, my opinion, once Charlie got married to Erica, it was kind of like, thanks for all your efforts, friend. Further evidence, if you want to bring receipts. Everybody and their mother literally came to Charlie Kirk's funeral. Why didn't she go? What's the actual reason? Can someone provide the reason you wouldn't go to your friend's funeral? So then she goes to war against Turning Point USA. Then she literally starts questioning the integrity of Erica Kirk. I'm sorry. This is the exact opposite of how a friend operates. That to me is the most disgusting thing. Forget about what she said about Israel and Jews and BLM and liberals. This is friendship stuff. This is friendship stuff. The most valuable currency you have are the relationships you have, your friends. In my opinion, she's burned every bridge she's ever been associated with. Whether that's Turning Point USA, whether that's a Daily Wire, whether that's PragerU, Charlie Kirk, Steven Crowder. I don't know what's going on even in this room, but it's not like we're loving what she's doing these days. I'm asking you a serious question. Who are her friends at this point?
Well,
to me, she's very lonely.
No, I think she's very close with Tucker. I do think she has a group
How many
of
more
friends.
can you name, though? Because she's losing people like Tim Pool. She's losing people like Steven Crowder, who's calling her out. He called her a evil. See you next Tuesday.
I don't think he
But
and
I'm
her
saying
were
these
together.
are all people in the same
The Crowder thing.
world.
You have to isolate each one of these. We can't just say something like
Other
that.
than
because
Tucker, who's defending
Crowder
Candace?
and her had an issue after Crowder and his wife went through the divorce, and there were rumors created about Crowder that never ended up coming true, and they threw Crowder under the bus. And so there's been a rift between them with that $50 million contract that he publicly talked about
seems like
on video. I don't know if you guys
Sir,
remember that.
You're right. There seems like there's a rift with every single person that she interacts with, other than Tucker.
Yeah.
Genuine question. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus. Who's Candace's friends? Who are her allies? Can we name a name? Anyone?
Oh,
Anyone?
She's got more than you would believe.
Name a name.
No, she's got a lot of them.
I'm sure that there's Twitter army out there.
Yeah,
but what famous names advocates are saying, I'm with Candace? Tucker, maybe? Who else?
No.
I can't name one.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Maybe not the people that you're naming earlier.
I'm just saying a name other than Tucker.
Guys,
Give me a name.
I am just trying to be
Vinny, give me a name.
what's the word? I'm trying to be very
Diplomatic?
not diplomatic, logical.
Me too.
Because I called out, and I'm not like I said some things about Erica earlier about the hands with the back of the head. So it's not like I'm making friends today. Oh, thankful. Let me go make some friends today. DM, what a great show, PBD, today. You were awesome. I'm not going to get those messages
Well, we're
today.
still friends,
but,
PBD.
But to me,
Vinny,
that's a part of where we I hope the audience that watches us, 20% of you guys watch us because you can't stand us. And I'm okay with that. I'm thankful for you still. Because I don't mind those messages. We need those messages that we also go and do research to get better. 80% of you guys support us and we love you for it. And those of you who do, I think you watch us because you think we're fair. And we're just regular people that are just questioning things and going through it, and we want to find out what's going on. But we want the betterment for all of these guys. Because at one point when we were on the same page, here's a reality, by the way. If more of these divisions happen in 2028, Newsom gets elected, America ain't America.
Nope. That's for sure.
You're worried about that 76,000 Afghanis to 200,000 I came up? Imagine Newsom is the one that's president. You don't think he's accustomed to opening that border in California? What do you think happens the next night that takes place? Actually think about it. So to me, my concern is if I never talk to a person again and they're upset at me, but it keeps America safe, to me, America safe and America first is above all the other stuff. I'm not, and by the way, we can do that without privately leaking conversations. Like, by the way, nowadays, I have a list of people that I talk to. When I talk to them, I say, this person's probably recording the conversation. I have a list of people that I talk to. I'm like, yeah, that person's on that list. That person's on that list. This person's on that list. No, I don't think this person's recording that conversation. I have those people that I talk to.
Very interesting.
But the reality of it, if you're fairly reasonable and fair and consistent, and you're for team humanity, not team aliens. At the end of the day, I'm for team humanity. Eventually, long term, the right people will end up, God willing,
team humanity
doing the
over here
right
is what you're saying.
things. All right, let's get to the next story
Thank you,
here.
sir.
Next story I want to get to is, Vinny, you had one thing here that you played, which it's getting very hot here.
So
you had
hot.
one thing that Rob, can we do a temperature like we stay on like a 73 instead of like.
Adam,
So
take your
here's
clothes off.
Tish Hyman. That's his way of going to the bathroom.
That's his way of going to the
So Tish Hyman
Yes.
calls out Eric Swalwell.
I loved it.
And Vinny wants to react to this. Folks, Tish Hyman is the same lady who was in the bathroom when a transgender is in there changing with his dangling hanging out, and she goes out there screaming, and they kick her out of the gym, not Mr. Dangling, okay, who was dressed like a girl with broad shoulders that can bench press 2 plates and a quarter on each side 10 times, that I believe beat up his ex-wife when he used to be straight, or some like ex-girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
So, but here's
a big guy that could hold somebody down and commit a rape.
You saw the picture of his private parts?
No, I'm just saying.
You said big guy.
No. I mean,
whoa.
He's a large.
Physically. I see.
He's a muscular
I'm
man.
sorry. I just thought because I'm not. Rob, we can't show the clips. And if he has those videos,
Oh my gosh! Hang on. I'm reading from Adam's
Tom,
notes.
stop it.
These are mixed up.
Okay, go ahead and play this clip, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
Be men allowed in the women's room anymore. We need to know.
No woman should be harassed in a locker room. That's
Answer straight. Are there going to be women? Are you against men in women's locker rooms and sports? That's all you need to answer.
I'm telling you.
Please.
I don't want men harassing you in a women's locker room.
I know.
That should not happen.
It's happening all around America. There are 45 women and there are 45 men in the women's prisons right now, raping them, picking them out like chickens. The trans men are not women, and they're raping women. So I don't care if you're on the Democrat side, the Republican side. We need to be on the women's side, people. It's happening to our girls. It's happening to our women. And I'm here to let everyone
By the way,
know that this is happening.
Watch this.
Open your eyes.
No, just do me a favor. Pause it right there. Watch what just happened, Vinny. Go back 10 seconds ago. And I don't want you to look at her or look at Swalwell. Stay right there, Rob.
Okay.
Just look at the audience right there and look at their faces nationalities and see how many of them clap for what she said. Look at that, because that means they're in agreement with them. And this is in California, and Swalwell is trying to run for the governor of California. Pay attention to the audience, not Swalwell, not the lady. Go ahead, Rob. Watch what she said. Very common sense statement.
It's happening to our girls. It's happening to our women.
Yes, it is.
I'm here to let everyone
Watch
know
this.
that this is happening. Open your eyes.
Who's clapping? Pause right there.
Nobody on
Who
that
do you
side,
see clapping?
buddy. Nobody.
Not a single person is clapping and agreeing with her because they're there to support Swalwell running for governor. Keep playing it, Rob. Wow, what a shame. By the way, before I come to you, can you do me a favor? You know what? Matter of fact, I'll come to you and I'll play Charles Barkley video. I don't know if you saw that one or not. I'll send it to you as well, Rob. Go ahead, Vinny.
And Rob, can you cue up the other one of Eric Swalwell, because I want to go to voting. Just really fast, Pat, you mentioned this guy is running for governor. Okay, and if you guys remember, was it 2 weeks ago, Robbie, where we showed, and you don't have to show it, Rob, Scott Wiener, who's going to be taking over Nancy Pelosi's spot, doesn't care about men and women's bathrooms. He's so pro LGBTQ, whatever. And I want people to understand. I'm curious, number one, where are all those loudmouth pro-woman, what is it called, Adam?
Feminists?
Where are they at? What's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Who was the Supreme Court justice that was going up, and everybody and their mother from Alyssa Milano? Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, I'm here for you, Vinny. I got you.
I love
baby.
you. How many women were, oh my God, what he did to women in high school, even though he had a freaking documentation.
He liked beer, bro.
Yeah, he liked beer and remember that whole Me Too, and where are you all at? Tom, I'm genuinely curious. Here you have a black lesbian Democrat who's like, she's screaming at the top of her lungs. This is going on week 3. It's almost been a month. Where are all the prominent black voices to stand up for this girl? She's out here by her damn self. Where's the gay community? Where's the black community? Where are the feminists? You guys ain't doing shit.
The answer is she's stepping out of line. And what she's stepping out of line is because the victim du jour is the T. And that's what the Dems need. The Dems need victims to support victims, to claim that conservatives and others are taking away freedoms. Yep. And so they believe it. They don't want their daughters in those locker rooms. They don't want their daughters molested. They don't want that to happen. But they're not going to say it when the guy who was tricked by a Chinese spy and was playing hide the salami with a spy is now running for governor of California, and they're ignoring that from his background. They're ignoring the victimhood, and this is a rational woman saying, I was at a gym, I worked out, I took a shower, I was changing, and there's a guy there. It says a tall, muscular man who had the physical capability of committing an assault, and it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, and by the way, here's what Charles Barkley had to say about this. Vinny, I'll come back to you. Go for it.
It's very simple for you, Dan. Men should not play sports against women. I'm not going to get into all the bullshit that's going on out here in the world today. If anybody thinks that, I think they're stupid. I'm not, like I say, I support the gay community 100%. I support the transgender community 100%. But I do not, under any circumstances, under zero, think that men should play sports against women. And if anybody have a problem with that, they're going to have to get over it, because I'm not going to change I'm not going to change. I just think it's wrong, period. If people disagree with me, I'm good with that. Hey, we disagree. Yeah. I'm not mad at you.
Can pause right
I don't
there.
hate you.
And by the way, this is a guy that probably didn't vote for Trump, probably voted for Kamala, probably voted for Biden, probably voted for Obama. But what he's saying is, hey, Democratic Party, if you keep talking about the shit, we're going to keep losing. Yep. And Vinny, what's this video? Is this the phone call video?
And Pat, I'm just...
Vinny, you okay?
I can't even speak. How is this still even an issue? Men with penises, okay? Not transition, which I still don't give a shit because you still have the testosterone. How is it still an issue that you're able to go in a woman's restroom, take your pants off, and she's like, oh my God, there's a guy in here, and there's little kids in the gym as well, because parents bring their kids. And then number 2, men and women's sports. As if we didn't learn, especially with that freaking Middle Eastern boxer that looked like my freaking cousin Eddie, beating the shit out of women. I don't get it. And this party is still hanging on to it. And this is a clip, guys. If you want to know who's going to be running for governor, as if Californians, you already got the worst of the worst with Gavin Newsom. You nailed it. Mr. Fang Fang, who was one of the worst, who farted live on national television and tried to deny. He
That's
did,
just big grounds for dismissal right
this
there.
This guy's
right,
one of the most incompetent
here,
ones
Rob.
on the market.
He farted live?
Pat, he farted live, and you could actually hear it. I'm going to find it for Rob. But this is him
Unbelievable,
saying that,
Vinny.
guess what? He wants people in California and nationwide to be able to vote by phone. Go ahead, Rob, play this clip.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian
Vote by phone.
Vote by phone.
Look, vote by phone?
If we can do our taxes, do our, make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by
Text
phone.
Fang Fang.
Make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States. I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy. Also, as it relates to democracy, if you wait in line for 30 minutes or more, if you do want to vote in person, I think you should fine every county for every minute that a person has to wait longer. We have to be better, not just a little bit better
Why don't you do
than
this?
the other states.
Why don't you do this? You know
The
what solves
DMV.
all of it? Make voting day a national holiday. Just do that. That's simple. Everybody can go vote. Make voting day a national holiday. What is a bigger day than the day we're hiring our next boss?
There isn't.
To make the decisions
Besides
for the
4th of
country.
July
Next
and stuff,
leader.
this is it.
Yeah. So why don't you just announce it's a national holiday?
Yeah.
Everybody go vote on that day. Why not do that?
And
Who
put
knows?
all the votes on the blockchain so that they could all be audited, one per person. You have to be here. Boom. Guess what?
Easy peasy.
The Democrats rebel against everything that is not manipulable. All you have to do is look under all their arguments. Why do they argument for absentee ballots? You can harvest them. You can go to old folks' home. You can fake them. Why do they want no ID? Because you can bust people around in circles. You can be like Chicago. Vote early and often. It's election day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's what they want. Whenever you talk about, they always want to talk about control, freedom of speech, or the right. But when you want to talk about controlling elections with blockchain or some things that we have sitting right in front of us, the answer is no, 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 no. And then you look at the map, red, blue, and it all speaks out. So, their words talk loud, and the numbers that scream is the voting fraud.
And that and I know I want to come down real quick. This is the Democratic Party in a nutshell. Keep the border open, import terrorists to come here, give them all the money in the world, and guess what? If you're a guy that says that you're a woman, get your ass into that bathroom and assault and just make everybody unfreaking comfortable. That's their entire platform. That's it. Because nobody can give me an answer on anything that they're running for positive. Go ahead. Give me one. Adam, what would be the main, and I'm being dead serious, the number one Democratic campaign slogan push is what?
We're not Trump.
There you go.
That's it.
There's no
They don't
policy.
have
Go ahead.
anything.
I'm sorry.
Well, the reason that you were stumbling on your words and you couldn't find your words,
My brain hurts,
is
Adam.
because the word you're identifying that you're trying to find is identity hypocrisy. They're playing this whole identity thing. So you ever heard the thing where it's like, well, listen, that might be the truth, but this is my truth.
Yeah.
When you say my truth, you know what could be true? Whatever you make up in your head is my truth.
It's a definition of moral relativism.
So here you have, listen, support your lesbian black women, of course. The lesbian black woman that doesn't want full-on men in the women's locker room. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hey,
whoa,
black
whoa.
woman, relax.
Easy, lesbian black woman.
Chill.
Tease
Don't mess with our
women
voting
too.
bloc.
So she's the loudest person they would love to silence. Something tells me that lady's not going away. Okay?
By the
You
way,
have a
I think she should run for office.
I'm dead serious. I was going to say that.
What's
Not
her
in
name?
California.
Tish Hyman.
Not in California.
I think Tish
because look at the
Hyman.
round of applause she didn't get.
Oh,
By the way,
I bet
the other
you,
side of the
Tish,
room was
Tish, run for office.
Please.
Tish.
She's a rapper. Look how jacked she is.
Yeah, she's
she
a
would
lesbian
whoop
woman.
somebody's
So
ass.
it's like this. You remember
Not that guy.
but not a snitch.
Oh, the guy in
Not
the
the
gym?
guy in the gym.
I don't know. What do you think?
Can you find that picture of the guy? It was a full-on man.
No, obviously.
He didn't even fake it.
He did his
By the way,
eyelashes, though.
this identity hypocrisy, when so there was the governor race in Virginia earlier this month, where you had a black Republican against a white Democrat liberal. Abigail Spanberger ended up beating Winsome Earl Seals. Support your black women. Support your black women. Stick up for your... Oh, unless she's a Republican. No, they don't. We're not here to support a Republican. When Larry Elder ran against Gavin Newsom, support your fellow black. No, not if he's a conservative.
He's a sellout.
Yeah, he's a sellout.
He's not
off the
black.
plantation. This whole misgendering and they, them, and my truth, it's all a fallacy. It's all a house of cards. So when you have someone who's clearly a black female who's saying protect the locker room from this quote unquote woman, that's a full on dude. No one in their right mind would look at this person and misgender them.
It's a dude.
But when he, with a dude with a dick, walks in and goes, I'm a lady, and then she's the bad person, she gets removed. This is California for you guys.
Yep.
Gold's Gym.
Run,
Fail.
Tish. Run for office. You run for office, we'll bring you on the podcast and interview you.
You know what would be amazing?
Go run.
You know what
run
would be amazing?
for office, yes.
You see how jacked she is?
Yeah.
I would like her to fight him right there
Yeah.
in a boxing match.
She'd win.
And let's see who wins.
Yeah.
I'd pay for that.
Okay. All right. So let's go to
Well,
the next thing here.
he's 1-0 with the TKO against a former girlfriend.
put her in the hospital.
According to legal documents and a charge.
Let's go to the next
right,
story.
that's his truth, though.
Let's go to the next story. Next story I want to get into is Meta employees compared themselves to drug pushers as company buried mental health harms to kids in unsealed documents. Rob, I believe you have a video on this. If you want to pull this up. Is this it, Rob?
Yeah, this is a Reuters report on the story.
Is it like one of those things where a person comes up
A
and
newscast, yeah.
Let's see what it looks like, and I'll let you know to stop it or just read it.
Meta shut down internal research into the mental health effects of Facebook after finding casual evidence that its products harmed users' mental health. That's according to unredacted filings in a lawsuit by U.S. school districts against Meta and other social media platforms.
I'll read it fast. Alarming details surfaced on Northern California district that where a coalition of U.S. state attorneys general, school district, and parents are suing Meta, Google-owned YouTube, TikTok, Snap over allegations that they prioritize profit over misleading the public about potential risks to children. Oh my gosh, y'all, IG is a drug. One Meta user experienced researcher allegedly states in an internal chat, according to documents cited in court records, we're basically pushers. Another Meta employee allegedly responded. Instagram chief Adam Sosnick doesn't want to hear it, freaked out when presented with an internal review about how the app was essentially getting kids hooked and dopamine hits. And one researcher said the plaintiff alleged CEO Mark Zuckerberg and other executives lied to Congress. Okay, so we know where this is going. Tom, where are you at with the story?
I'll tell you where I'm at. It's the truth is coming out there and it's leaking out. And now even the people that work at the at social media are out there with it. Let me tell you, we are being gaslit, by congressmen and senators that are bought by the tech companies that are driving social media. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And this is where Zuckerberg went to Congress and he spoke about some of these things. We don't have data on that. We don't know about that. But apparently there's emails incoming from SVPs and, internal communications, I suppose like a Slack or something similar they're using inside, whatever Meta uses. And I'll tell you, everyone knew the truth, what's going on, but nobody was talking about it out in the bright light of day. Rob, if you could search for Dove Soap reverse selfie. So Dove Soap, marketing people inside Dove, Pat, were looking at this and saying, there's a problem here. And they saw what girls were doing in terms of, they looked at the statistics on girls cutting, depression, and things they were doing. And they were convinced, based on data they saw, that they said there's a problem here. And they did this ad campaign called Reverse Selfie, where they were advertising it, and they started buying, and it was called, it opens up, Reverse Selfie, called Toxic Influence. And basically, they were trying to get moms and dads to understand that there were bad things happening in social media, and they put it with the
Good for them.
They've said the purity of Dove Soap goes with the purity of who you are and who you were born and who you are. And we want parents to do this.
Yeah.
By the way, they had issues apparently on day one getting it on TV. Some TV didn't want it. Hey, we got to be careful with this. So you know what they did? They bought time in movie theaters and they were running it as an ad pre-roll in movie theaters. And I remember seeing it. And so now you've got people like Dove was looking at the stats. This is looking at the stats. We've been talking about the book that we want everybody to read. And so My point is now we've got people finally coming out on social media talking about it. Folks, this is a time where we have to be, at Thanksgiving, we talk about how thankful we are for our kids, how thankful we are for our family. Well, we can also be thankful that people are taking risks to put facts out, and people are taking risks to make ads, even though this goes back a couple years for Dove, because the negative influence of social media is there. For the love of God, wake up, take care of your kids, hold them close. And the more and the closer you hold them and you have dialogue, and the farther you keep them from social media to get their props and their reinforcement, the better it will be. Because now we hear people from Facebook, Pat, saying, man, we're like drug pushers. We were doing it. This is like a drug. And they're saying that, Vinny, looking at the data.
Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, of course. So we talk about being addicted to all these different things that are out there, gambling, sex, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. The most addictive thing that is the most ubiquitous is social media and your smartphone. So, if you look at the 30 and under crowd, small percentage of people are addicted to these things. 10%, 15%, alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, sex. Almost 100% of people under 30 are on their phone hours on a day. It's so pervasive that we don't even think of it as a problem. And I'm so glad that Meta has basically highlighted the fact that Instagram and social media, TikTok for that matter, is a drug. It is the most addictive drug you can possibly have because you don't think that it's a drug. The challenge that we're having with Gen Z is they never had a chance. So your kids, Tom, your kids, PBD, they're essentially in the youngest version of Gen Z or the oldest version of Gen Alpha, and they've had a decade of data and stats that say, listen, guys, you probably don't want to have your kids on this all day, every day. But 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Gen Z never got that warning. And parents, maybe they didn't understand what was going on. They're like, here's an iPad, here's a phone, it's all good. And the reverberations of that we're still dealing with. Women, self-esteem issues, men crumbling as a man. All these issues are happening in society, and Gen Z didn't even realize it was happening to them. So now kids, we have the conversation these days, should you let your kid have a phone before, what were the numbers, 15, 18, whatever it was? There was a whole host of different data sets, but almost 100% of kids, Gen Z, got a phone by the time they were 15. So when I say they never stood a chance, they didn't really realize how bad it was going to be. And now a lot of them are addicted, and a lot of women have fell down the feminist trap. A lot of men have gone down the rabbit hole of bad information, and it's tough out there.
I talked to one of our leaders in our company. Her and I were speaking about what's going on with surgeries and how many surgeries people are having and GLP-1s and all this other stuff. I said, look, there's a difference between, you good?
Yeah.
Hurt yourself.
You okay,
I know what happened.
Need a hug? What you need?
There's a difference between exercising and making yourself, get healthier, right? And going to the gym and taking care of yourself. If you're not developing the self-esteem of your kids, they will get caught up in this mess. Because judgment is coming. We can right now, can you do me a favor, chat? Have some fun with this. Can you judge me, Tom, Adam, and Vinny, and Rob on one of our facial features? Go ahead. Judge us.
No, pal.
Go ahead and have some fun, okay? I want you to do it. Okay? You Adam this or, go ahead. Do you know how much fun you can have with that? By the way, do you know how much it bothers me? This much. But we do it. We have fun with it. It's going to happen. I think what parents we just need to do is develop the confidence in our kids, because if it's constant comparison, constant edifying certain looks, they're going to do that. If you're setting that example for your kids, they're going to do that. They're going to think that's the way to go, and it's never going to be enough. There's never going to be enough surgeries. There's never going to be enough of this stuff that is taking place. So it is also something that by the way, you're right that a lot of kids are dealing with this, and Dove, I don't know if I've ever given a shout out to Dove, but good for Dove. Good for you guys. They're not even a sponsor. I don't even know if we use Dove. But I love the fact that they're doing something like this to get people realizing this. We have somebody that takes picture of us. Every time she takes pictures of us, I look 20 years younger. But I know I'm not looking like that. Yesterday we're playing soccer here, and I want to do this while we're going through it. Rob, I'm going to send this to you. We're playing soccer here yesterday. We had the turkey bowl, okay? And during the Turkey Bowl, 50 people are here. And me, at 47 years old, I decide to play.
You play?
Against 22-year-olds, 28-year-olds, 29-year-olds, a 51-year-old Lewis. But it was mainly 20s and 30s.
Ooh,
and I said, by the way, you know how much I played this? I have not exercised and ran around a few hours like we did yesterday with these young kids. Dude, I'm feeling it today.
Yeah.
When I went to sleep yesterday, I'm feeling it today.
Did you score a goal?
But we gave some, listen.
They didn't let you score a goal?
We went to
This
the
is BS,
championship match, but I'm going to tell you who we lost to. Can you zoom in on this picture? I want to give a shout out to these guys. They call themselves the FLB FC, okay? The FLB FC, and I got to recognize every one of these guys in this picture. Even the guy that's standing to the left as if he's not part of the team and he's security, he was part of the team.
Okay.
So you got
Is this your team?
Yeah, no, this is not my team. This is the championship team. They beat us in the championship.
Who's on your team?
And by the way, I got to give a shout out. Let me just do this. Luis Espinoza on that team, okay? You have Damian Fernandez in the blue, right in the middle. You see him right
sounds
there.
Latino.
He played light. He was the best player.
Of course.
And he was MVP. I'll show the picture
like
here.
Messi over here.
Alejandro Delame, he was the second in MVP. He was a leader. He did great. And Miguel Barahona, and as well as Daniel Espinoza and Robert Carabetta, which, by the way, Roberto Carabetta
PBD.
stole the ball from me at the end, and he scored the winning goal.
What?
I
then he got
grabbed the
fired. It was
baseball
crazy
bat.
how
I
it
ran
happened like
after him.
that.
No, none of that happened. Rob, if you can
Yeah,
go
he
to
works
the
at
other
McDonald's
picture.
now.
Can you go to the
Sorry,
other picture?
buddy. By the way,
one I
every
sent?
single person on that team was a Latino.
Yeah.
Espinoza,
This
Enrique.
guy is an absolute stud of a player. I enjoyed watching him play. He was great. He was psycho-competitive. A lot of guys came
Mini
out.
Messi.
Mario put this whole thing together yesterday with the crew, and it was such a great time. And by the way, if some of you guys want to, you're local, you want to be involved in the next soccer tournaments, we're running very soon. We're building 2 padel courts there. But it was a great time. It was an awesome time, and it wasn't sponsored by Dove. But I just wanted to give a shout out to these guys.
But most
here.
importantly, you got out there and you touched grass and you played with your fellow
loved
humans
it.
and didn't play soccer on your phone.
I loved it. I loved it. We had a phenomenal time.
Was Dylan
here.
out there?
Of course he was. Dylan
team was he on?
Dylan scored the sickest goal. He scored
you,
an
Dylan.
Olympic goal, what they call it. You know
hook
how
from a corner kick, like he didn't meaning it
not
just hooked
touched.
in.
He scored a goal. He scored 2
By the
goals in
way,
that
Dylan's
game, and they beat
11?
us. He's 12 now.
12?
Yeah.
Competing with these guys?
Dylan-
Who was on your team, just for the record?
It was me, Lewis, Liam, and we had Damien. We had Jamil, not Damien, and we had Emmanuel, freaking lights out, and then a goalie who's good. He's good with us. He played very good. Manuel was
Mario
probably
wasn't
one of
on
the-
your team?
Mario was not on our team. No, and on the first team I played, yes. But
Disgrazie,
anyways,
Mario.
it was a great time. It was a great time, and let's do the last one here before we wrap up. Tucker Carlson. Vinny posted this tweet yesterday, cracks up, gets a couple million views. Just go to Vinny. So this is Vinny's Twitter account. He says, this literally made me laugh. Folks,
I watch it right
if you're watching this with your kids, pause, because there's going to be a word being used that some of you guys may not want your younger kids to watch. And here, I'll give you a second. Having said that, here is Tucker Carlson sitting down with Piers. Piers is promoting his book that just came out, The Woke, I believe it's called. And here's what Tucker had to ask him. Go ahead, Rob.
Would you say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
You don't want to get arrested, do you?
It doesn't want to be arrested.
Oh, because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is it like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, but would you
Faggot.
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to, because you're...
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say, I love gay people. Faggot.
I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
Would you say the word
so
faggot
you know the
on
context
camera?
of this is he's Tucker is talking to him about because this is a broader conversation about the censorship in Europe and what's happening and them not being able to say anything, Pat, about immigration or anything. Because if you say anything, you're racist and all that stuff.
Which, by the way, Tucker has a point.
He does.
That you can't say this. And there are risks behind it. He has a point to say this. And Pierce also represented what he doesn't want to say. Okay? And that's okay as well. You respect that. There's some words I know I can't say, I don't want to say. You know, when I had the conversation with Nick and I'm like, hey, you don't need to say some of these words that you're using because you're already very good at what you do. You don't need to do that. But his argument is, hey, I also want to live in America to be able to say whatever the hell I want to say. His argument is also a good argument. But I have a theory.
Okay.
I have a theory, Vinny.
Bring it on.
And tell me if this is a dumb theory. And let's see what the audience can say.
Okay, let's hear it.
Maybe this is a dumb theory. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's whatever. I have a feeling, okay? Because do you know How many times have you heard Tucker say the F word before?
I don't think I have.
You never have.
Personally,
not that one.
Not that one. He said it once in 2006 on a radio call when he called in. It's the only time. 2006, which is 20 years ago. So Tucker also doesn't say that word, but he just started saying that word. Now, why is he saying that word? I believe, in the craziest way, that Nick Fuentes has influenced Tucker to speak freely and say whatever he wants to say on his mind. So Nick Fuentes has brought out the Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson out.
Wow.
Oh.
And Nick is kind of leading Tucker for Tucker to come out and say, man, if that guy's saying it, I want to say it as well. So I believe deep down inside, because Tucker was in such a organized, structured CNN, who was he with? Fox. And I think, was he with MSNBC? Not MSNBC.
Yes, he was.
He was with MSNBC.
And CNN and Fox.
Because he's been in such a system that you can never say something like this. And then he meets a younger guy that is saying, I'm going to say anything and everything. I think that kind of inspired Tucker to say, if he can say it, why can't I? And this isn't like, you should have never, how dare you put Nick on your podcast. No, I kind of did a month before he put him on. And we had a great conversation together. And it was a friendly convo that we had here. But to me, this is just saying that I think Nick is given permission for Tucker to use some of those words. And I know this kind of sounds weird, and some people are going to use this and say condescending and all. How dare you say stuff like this? Look, I'm just telling you. The only thing that you can look at is all these years he never spoke like this, and all of a sudden he is. Maybe it's because, like, hey, why can't I talk like that? Is this a crazy theory?
No, I don't think it's a crazy theory at all. I think you're bringing up something very, very interesting, is that the new media leadership, and let me translate that. This is the podcast and the alternative media, because old media is either dead or for sale or struggling. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
You go to the Allen Company conference. Would you like to buy a CNN? No, it's not a copy. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's like a guy pulling out of his pocket. We know that's going on. And so new media is struggling. They bring in, our friend Weiss, and now she's in there running up and down the halls, hiring people, and they're called raising havoc. No, she's trying to fix CBS. Mm-hmm. So you have all those things going on. What is the group that it is emerging and is finding its way and finding its voice? And that is, guess what? Podcasting. And you've got Nick Fuentes who does those things. How can a media establishment guy, that's Tucker. He was a media establishment. A minute ago, Adam read the resume of all the regular media giants that he worked at. That was his legacy. That's where he was.
He's the only person to ever work for the big three.
There you go.
Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. He's the only person who's had his own show on each of those networks.
Not even Wallace?
Nobody.
Just
fact check me, please.
Stossel, Wallace, is he? Okay, maybe you're right.
Well, Chris Wallace was on CNN Plus for 1 minute and 42 seconds. That's the life of CNN Plus. Yeah. So you've got all this happening, and Nick Fuentes is out there sort of being Nick, being in his way, and just, having his opinion, pushing hard, but rebelling against a lot of things that he feels, and rebelling against control systems, if you look at Nick. And so how can that not be influencing a guy who walked off Fox and has been a leader in the podcasting space, only to see people like Nick gaining traction? I think there is a cross-the-aisle influence there, and I think you're onto something.
Rob, what was the thing about what Adam said?
So Chris Wallace has appeared on shows on CNN.
But he didn't have a show.
No,
Tucker's
the only one. Yep.
Yeah,
so
I think there's something there. I agree with Pat.
I don't know if he's
not just to
establishment.
agree.
I don't put Tucker as establishment.
I'm saying media establishment.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is Tucker was a guy that was in the establishment that hated it and wanted to be free. Because I believe Tucker looks at Nick and he sees himself. But he went a route that he couldn't speak that way. And Nick didn't come with a family who's been, Voice of America and, did what he did in the CIA. And Nick's like, no, I didn't come from a family like that. I'm going to say whatever hell I want to say, and he has nothing to lose, whereas Tucker has a lot to lose. Tucker could say stuff like that and lose sponsors. Nick doesn't. And by the way, for Nick's next phase of recreating himself, one of the things I respect about what Nick said is, I said, what compliment can he give about Charlie? You know what he said? I have so much respect for how hard the guy works. And he says, I know later on, I think he said something like this, I know later on if I get into it, I'm going to have to do that as well. Maybe he said that. But I think for the next phase, he has to get the business side in. Mm-hmm. And the business side, the There's elements of diplomacy. There's elements of partnership. There's elements of things like that he'll need to get to because he needs to make money so he can't be owned by anybody. You have to find a way to make some money. You have to, or else your donors are going to, because people are going to give you money. Then what's going to happen? So I hope behind closed doors he has a plan as well. Whether you read the Kennedy book, The Family, or you read the Bush Family, they'll all say the same thing. Make money, protect your wife and your kids, then give back to the country that allowed you to make that money, okay? So he's got to find a way to get through that next phase. Adam, were you going to say anything on this?
I was going to say something. Just when I thought Tucker couldn't get any worse in my eyes, he goes and totally redeems himself and starts using the F word. Good for you, Tucker. To me...
Were you offended?
No, not at all. I mean, I used the F word on this podcast, and people weren't very happy with me, and I won't use it. Because there's a difference between an F and a G. That's all I'm saying. Tucker, to me, you bring up a very good point. And I mean this in a not in a negative way, just in a factual way. I don't think Tucker is a leader. I think he's a follower. I think he sees what's going on out there and says, okay, all the cool racist kids are following Nick. F word, F word. And that's what he does. He never takes a stand against something that someone else hasn't already done. When I lost respect for Tucker is when he was on air defending Trump every single day. And then behind the scenes, he says, I hate this guy with a passion. Can't wait till he's out of office. You're gaslighting your audience to defend Trump January 6th. But behind closed doors, you're talking trash about Trump. You lost me, bro. Like, I truly believe, remember when Tucker and Nick were feuding 3 to 6 months ago? And I was like, yeah, I trust Nick more than I trust Tucker. Because at least I think Nick isn't putting on an act. I genuinely think that he's anti-Semitic and anti-black and anti-immigrant. He's a Catholic
he doesn't hide it.
Theocrat, and that's what he believes. And he believes that, Rome, his words,
you think Nick is
the Vatican is more important. What's that?
You think Nick is anti-Semitic?
You think he hates Jewish people? Like in
I'm
general?
I'm willing to bet that he's not a fan of the Jews.
No,
yes.
Look, listen.
Israel, Jews, yes, not a fan.
Well,
when you shout the N-word like it's going out of style, you probably don't like black people. But by the way, I'm at Thanksgiving dinner last night, and one of my friend's younger nephews was like, dude, I watch you guys, PBD, I watch Candace, I watch Tucker, I watch Nick. Who's the one person he asked me about? He goes, tell me about Nick.
Yeah,
I said he's super smart, super talented. I think he goes down the rabbit hole of very negative, ugly views, but I'm not saying he's an idiot. It's dismissive. I never say, Candace is an idiot, Tucker's an idiot. I say, no, they're smart people with very different viewpoints on things. I think Tucker, who was Tucker's audience for the last decade before? It was a Fox News crowd. How old is the Fox News crowd?
60 and up.
60 and up. It's like 80 and up. So Tucker's looking for a new audience out there. And he's in the YouTube world. And he sees this kid named Nick Fuentes. He goes, oh, okay, here we go. Let me try to attract his audience. Now, what were Nick and Tucker feuding about? Do you remember? Do you remember what it was?
I believe it was Nick Fuentes said, well, Tucker called Nick Fuentes a gay kid in the basement.
Yes.
In Chicago.
Yeah. And then Nick Fuentes responded and talked about Tucker Carlson's father being in the CIA.
But there was another factor of what they were arguing about. There was some substance and stuff. Nick basically said, stop pretending that you understand the young American male. You don't know anything about what we're going through. You're a rich kid, daddy CIA, you're 60 years old. You don't know what it's like to be a 20-something in America. Stop pretending. You're establishment, you're a multi-millionaire. You don't know what it's like not to be able to buy a house, to have a girlfriend, to get laid, to have a career. You don't know. Basically, shut your mouth, Tucker. Sit this one out. That's essentially what Nick said. And it's true. Because there's a lot of young men that are basically have lost their ways. And if they follow the Nick path, they're just going to play the victim, but in a different side of things.
Okay.
To me, Tucker is fake and Nick is at least real.
Yeah. And that's what
you
I
said
think.
that Tucker's following Nick, not Nick's following Tucker.
No, Nick is not following Tucker.
So Tucker is following Nick.
Yeah, I think so.
So a 60-year-old man is following a 25-year-old boy.
Oh, and by the way, when I say this is not a diss to Tucker. I'm in Hawaii 13 years ago, and a girl named Phoebe is teaching me about Snapchat. When did Snapchat come out, Rob? Can you type in when Snapchat came out? It's got to be 12 or 13 years ago.
Snapchat.
Phoebe was a baby. Yeah, exactly. I said 13 years ago.
2011, yeah.
So 13 years ago, I'm sitting there, and she's showing me about this thing called Snapchat. I'm like, what the hell is Snap? She takes the phone, and she's showing it to me. I'm like, wow. Guess who's following who in that moment when it comes on to Snap?
True.
I'm following. So this is not this. This just means, you're watching. But at the same time, I think one part of it is, call it what you call it. I cannot believe I'm sitting here. Like yesterday's when I'm 3 years away from 50. I'm thinking to myself, I'm 3 years away from 50. That's freaking crazy, right? 13 years away from 60. 23 years away from 70, 33 years away from 80. You realize that?
It's true.
But I'm telling you,
I'm doing the
can
math.
keep doing the math. 43 from 90,
53 from 100.
Dude, I'm 55 years from 100, bro. And it's going to happen like that. Tom, you're 5 years from 100.
Like this.
I mean,
imagine what 250 million is going to be.
Can I do
There's
something?
nothing to fear.
Rob,
it's okay
Can
here.
you grab the crew in the back? Can you grab Justin? Grab everybody that's here right now, please. Bring them around.
Hey, guys.
And
Come on,
put the
guys.
camera. Come right behind us. Come right behind us. Come right behind us. Come right behind us.
Look at this
Justin,
good-looking
come right
guy.
behind
Come
us.
on in.
Come behind us here. Come behind us. Come behind us.
The Black Friday.
You're the guy from the
Black Friday, man.
sketch.
No, get over in the back.
Come over here.
Jules,
Come right
come
behind
get
us.
down so they can see you guys.
Get in there.
Do you want to set
Get
up?
down.
So I just want to start
people.
off. I just want to start off by
Justin, get in on
thanking
this.
these guys for showing up. They didn't have to. They chose to. Literally, they didn't have to do this. This is purely all volunteer that they chose to say, we want to come in and we want to support. We love these guys. We love the work that they're doing. And we appreciate them. Rob drove 4 hours today after being elsewhere. And he said, I'm going to come down and I'm going to do this. And he didn't have to do it. He chose to do it. Want to give some respect to these guys. This show doesn't happen with the people behind closed doors that do their part. And this guy's the leader of the pack. He's doing a great job with us, Justin.
Stud.
And, Julius is an actor.
He's a very
Happy
good
Black
actor.
Friday, guys.
He's a very good
Happy Black
actor.
Friday, y'all.
And we just want to give a shout out to everybody here, all the listeners that you were with us today.
Malik.
We appreciate you. We know you had a happy Thanksgiving. Rob, you're out there while we're giving you the shout out.
I love
and the people
Rob.
that are
Rob left
editing
the room to switch.
to
Yes.
get the clips out. God bless. Happy Thanksgiving. Go to vtmerch.com. Place your order so we may call you and eventually have you on the podcast. God bless
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving,
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.